Virginia, just outside the city limits of Richmond. More than 100,000 fans have assembled for the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. This 25th race of the year means there's only 10 to go, and there's an added bonus at stake tonight. Call it Richmond International Raceway, or the short track that thinks it's a super speedway, or the action track. It all comes down to survival of the fittest. It's a place where NASCAR Winston Cup points leader Bobby Labonte in May had his worst finish so far this year. Bobby is one of 5 who had the fastest fingers and cars at Charlotte earlier this year. Will climb into the hot seat tonight and hope to walk away a millionaire. The 5 include the top 3 in points and the 2 top rookies. Big money, the championship chase at the action track. There's nothing else you need on a summer Saturday night.
We welcome you live to our special NASCAR Winston Cup Saturday night edition of Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? Hello, everyone. I'm Jerry Punch, and tonight 5 drivers are eligible for that Winston No Bull 5 bonus of $1 million, while 4 drivers near the top of the point standing set their sights on that huge $3 million paycheck that goes to the Winston Cup champion in December. Last week, points leader Bobby Labonte beat the racetrack, the racers, and the rain to win at Darlington and extend his lead to 111 points over Dale Jarrett, with Dale Earnhardt another 94 back. But the man to watch tonight is just 20 points back of Earnhardt, 4th in the standings, but 1st on the starting grid. Pole sitter Jeff Burton dominated this race 2 years ago, much as he did the Busch race here last night. And he knows that with just 10 events remaining, this night could be very crucial if he is to have any shot at that big check on the big stage in December.
Last Sunday at Darlington, Rusty Wallace took a hit on the track and a big hit in the points. Now he's on the verge of vanishing from the championship chase. Still, Rusty has been king of the short tracks this season, though he has just 2 wins to show for it. After last Sunday, Rusty Wallace needs a get-well race, and Richmond could be the place. 6 career victories here, and the last time Rusty Wallace won at Richmond in September was exactly 5 years ago tonight, and Rusty starts 5th. Richmond has a reputation for fireworks, and tonight fans will be focused on row 7, where Jeff Gordon starts next to Tony Stewart. Gordon got his first top 20 finish in 5 weeks at Darlington, coming home 4th, but in 3 of the last 5 races here, 31st or worse. Stewart won here 1 year ago and probably should have won here in May. Stewart, Gordon, and Wallace are not eligible for the $1 million. But for those 3, a win tonight would be priceless.
Lack of experience didn't hurt Dale Earnhardt Jr. here in May. The rookie phenom drove to his 2nd career win. So it's not a huge leap of faith to pick him as one of the favorites tonight, even though he starts 31st. He says Richmond is one of his favorite racetracks, and why not? In 2 appearances here, Jr. has averaged a 5.5 finish. He's told me that if he can stay out of trouble tonight, he expects to be near the front at the end. While Jr. has assumed one of the favorites roles, how about the underdogs? And there are none bigger than Rick Mast. Probably the only driver in the field to have experienced more bad luck during his career than Ken Schrader. He starts 4th tonight. The last time he started that close to the front here was in 1994, and that's when he posted a Richmond best 7th place finish. Speaking of 7, that's where Bill Elliott starts from tonight. After shattering his left kneecap at home before the Bristol race, he's already posted a victory just by getting back into his race car. A visit to victory lane might be too much to ask for Elliott tonight, but it's Richmond, so you never know. This track seems to lend itself to surprise winners. Bob?
We wrap up 3 big nights of racing here tonight. The NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series was here on Thursday night. The Busch Series here last night, but that means that the Winston Cup cars didn't qualify at night. They haven't even practiced at night, Ned.
Haven't had a lap on the track under the stars. And you might say, well, what's different from Bristol? They do the same thing over there. That's a cement track. This is asphalt. Temperature 85 degrees this afternoon. It gets very hot and slick. When they were running happy hour, cars were slipping and sliding all over the racetrack. Requires a different setup than what they'll need here tonight. They build adjustability into the cars. But 2 drivers, Dale Jarrett and Bill Elliott, didn't even go out for happy hour because they didn't want to get confused.
And this Richmond International Raceway, it's a great racetrack for racing because the corners, a different groove top and bottom, and cars can run up there, can run on the bottom. But you need a car that can run on both places, a multi-groove car, because if you run on the top, you run across someone you can't get by, then you have to go to the bottom, you can't run down there, you're just hooked. So you got to have a car that runs the top and the bottom if you can.
Bobby Labonte has been on top of the NASCAR Winston Cup points since April and now has matched his largest lead He and Ward Burton in 8th are the only 2 drivers in the top 10 who have not won a race here at Richmond International. The flyover is happening, and the command to start engines is next when we return.
Gentlemen, start your engines.
The 43 drivers are ready, and so are we. The start of the race is just moments away. ESPN's coverage of the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 is being brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. By brand name tires, oil changes, and more at your neighborhood Walmart Tire and Lube Express. And by Daytona USA, the official attraction of NASCAR. Well, the drivers tonight compete on a 3/4 mile oval. It's sort of D-shaped. The front stretch is 1,290 feet, the back stretch 860, and the banking is 14 degrees in the corners. And here on the D-shaped part of the racetrack, the front stretch, the banking is at 8 degrees. Now let's take a look at the Walmart starting grid. On the pole, his second career pole, Jeff Burton. The Exide batteries number 99, and current points leader Bobby Labonte is alongside. Jerry Nadeau lines up in 3rd position alongside Rick Mast. In the 3rd row, Rusty Wallace on the inside, flanked by Ward Burton. Bill Elliott returns to competition, starting in 7th position tonight, and he will be flanked by Johnny Benson. In the 9th starting position is Ken Schrader, and 10th is Mark Martin. Starting back in the 6th row, Kenny Wallace and Steve Park.
Jeff Gordon on the inside of row 7, and Tony Stewart alongside. Oh, boy, what a great row that is. Kevin LePage on the inside of row 8, and Elliott Sadler on the outside. Row 9, Dale Jarrett and Jeremy Mayfield. Row 10, Jimmy Spencer and Matt Kenseth.
And in row 11, we find Brett Bodine and Dale Earnhardt, one of the No Bull drivers here tonight. Row 12 is Dave Blaney and Jeffrey Bodine. He had a great run here in the spring. And Ricky Craven and Ricky Rudd make up row 13. Row 14, we see John Andretti and Stacy Compton. And in the 15th row, Joe Nemechek and Mike Skinner.
Dale Earnhardt Jr., another one of the Noble 5 drivers, has the 31st starting position. Hut Strickland is alongside him. Bobby Hamilton and Wally Dallenbach lined up in row number 17. Casey Atwood makes his NASCAR Winston Cup debut for Ray Abernham here tonight. Robert Presley has the final qualified starting position. Then the provisional starters are Terry Labonte and Sterling Marlin back in the 19th row. Row number 20, Chad Little and Michael Waltrip. Ted Musgrave and Steve Grissom get the 41st and 42nd starting positions, and Scott Pruitt gets the final and 43rd position. Missing from the field, those unable to qualify, Mike Bliss, Darrell Waltrip, Robbie Gordon, and Dave Marcus.
Real shame that Darrell Waltrip could not make the race here tonight. This would be the last time that Darrell would be racing at the Richmond International Raceway. So Rusty Wallace stopped on the backstretch. All he was doing was indexing the steering wheel, putting the spokes exactly where he wanted them. And you can do that by stopping, taking the wheel off, and putting it back on.
Well, they will race 400 laps here tonight. That's a total of 300 miles. The purse exceeds $2.2 million. The fuel window is between 110 and 120 laps. And the race record was established in September of 1997. Dale Jarrett at 109.047. We did have a new track record, an event track record, set here in qualifying, as Jeff Burton broke the previous event track record, which was held by Mike Skinner. So a couple of more warm-up laps, and then we'll be set to go in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. What What a sight here at Richmond International Raceway. More than 100,000 fans gathered here to watch this 25th race of the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup season, and we are less than half a lap from going green. On the front row is Jeff Burton, and on the outside is the current points leader and the driver who won last weekend at Darlington, Bobby Labonte. All the fans are on their feet. The pace car is on pit road, and here we go in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400.
Bobby Labonte will get those bonus points out of the way quickly.
Bobby Labonte did lead that first lap, but now Jeff Burton comes back on the inside. That is the 16th race that Bobby Labonte has led so far this year, in the 410th lap that he has been out front. Jerry Nadeau challenges Labonte now for second as Burton has taken the lead.
In NASCAR Winston Cup racing, each leader gets 5 bonus points for leading a lap. You lead 1 or lead 100, it's all the same. You get 5 bonus points. Bobby Labonte, the points leader, wanted to do that quickly. He did. Now, really, truly, he can just sit there and ride. He doesn't worry about if Nadeau or Rusty Wallace were to pass him.
Jerry Nadeau is celebrating his birthday today, his 30th birthday, and would like nothing better than to win this race, his first Winston Cup race, as a birthday present. He's moved to second.
That would be quite a birthday present.
Here comes Rusty Wallace, though, up to 4th position now, and falling in behind Nadeau.
Still a lot of cars running side by side. Back in the package, you see Rusty come on the inside of Bobby Labonte trying to take over third.
Will do so. So Bobby Labonte led lap number 1, now has fallen back to the 4th spot. Battle for 5th was between Ward Burton in the 22 and Rick Mast in the 14. Nice to see Bill Elliott back in competition after sitting out a couple of races because of a shattered kneecap suffered in a home accident.
He was one of those drivers that chose not to practice in happy hour this afternoon because of the higher temperatures. He practiced well this morning in a 1-hour practice session when the temperature was cooler.
Jeff Gordon and Tony Stewart started side by side, and they still are almost side by side.
Well, check out Kenny Schrader there, the 36, the yellow M&M's car, started in 17th. He has worked his way up to the 12th position. Almost had that position on Tony Stewart.
Now Stewart using that high line early here. Makes it work for him. Gordon comes right along as well.
Tony Stewart is the defending champion of this race. He started second last year, won it, leading 333 of the 400 laps. That's Jeremy Mayfield in the 12 and Kevin LePage in the 16 that were running side by side for a while. And now here's Ricky Rudd and Dave Blaney running wheel to wheel.
Like they were 3 wide for just a second with that red car on the right of your screen. That's Ricky Craven. He and John Andretti are side by side. John in the 43 yellow and blue car.
Before you look back in the pack, it reminds you of Talladega. They're still running side by side after 10 laps.
Raymond and Joe Nemechek now. And right behind that group is the 8 car driven by Dale Earnhardt Jr. He won here in the spring and is one of those eligible for the $1 million No Bull 5 bonus. Again, those eligible are the top 3 in the point standings coming into this race: Bobby Labonte, Dale Jarrett, and Dale Earnhardt. And the two top rookie contenders this year, Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Matt Kenseth.
They were the drivers who finished in the top 5 in the Coca-Cola 600 at Lowe's Motor Speedway back in May.
See, Tony Stewart, the 20 car, continuing on his march towards the front. He's now on the inside of the 55 car. And here's Jeff Gordon trying to go by on the outside. Well, Jeff is trying to figure out who do I follow, the 55 or the 20. Maybe I'll try the 55 and see if we can both get by the 20. Kenny Wallace was in front of the 20. Tony Stewart is trying to make that pass. Tony and Jeff have lost some spots since the race started. Evidently their line did not go exactly the way they wanted it. They backed up a little bit. And Jeff Gordon trying to get by Tony Stewart.
Well, they're giving each other a lot of room here, at least in the early going, because it's something that we all remember that happened early in the sport. Where was that?
At Watkins Glen on the first lap or second lap.
Well, here's Jeffrey Bodine, Dale Jarrett, rather, and the 17 of Matt Kenseth. They're running back in the 20th, 21st, and 22nd positions.
Dale Earnhardt, Goodwrench Chevrolet. He's currently running in the 23rd position, and he was not very happy with his car today. They made wholesale changes on that automobile just before the race started.
Now comes up and goes to the inside of Kenseth. So two of the Noble 5 contenders are battling side by side here, but it's for the 22nd position.
Yeah, that won't get him $1 million right there.
That won't get him 5 cents.
But it's a long way to go. In fact, you got 3 of them running together there. DJ's right in front of him.
And here is the leader of the race, Jeff Burton, who now has a 1.1 second advantage over Jerry Nadeau, who is running in second position. And with 18 laps completed, Burton leads over Nadeau, Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte, and Ward Burton. More live coverage from Richmond International in a moment. Back at Richmond International, Jeff Burton leads, but a challenge and, in fact, a change of position for second. That's Rusty Wallace, who has just gone to the runner-up spot, passing Jerry Nadeau.
And that's exactly what Jeff Burton did not want to look in the mirror and see. Rusty Wallace, because on the short tracks this year, Rusty Wallace has been the absolute car to beat. Now, they beat him a few times, but he's been the guy to beat.
Jeff Burton won the pole position here, his first since August of 1996. And what that does is make him eligible for the 2001 Bud Shootout at Daytona International Speedway next February. And there you see those who have accumulated poles so far this year. Let's go down to the pit area and get a report. Here's Bill Weber.
Well, Bob, a smooth start for Jeff Burton, but his spotter, Bobby Hudson, called in a few laps ago and said Rusty is running a couple of hundredths a second faster each lap, but he's also running one group higher than you in the turns. So Burton moved up, tried Rusty's groove, and has improved his speed. So the spotter helping the driver get around Richmond.
Here is Tony Stewart still moving up to the inside of Bill Elliott as he tries to take over the 8th spot.
Now, he is the guy on the move. I misspoke when I said that he had fallen back from the start. He actually had started 14th. He had moved forward a couple of spots. He was 12th at the time. But now, as you see, as Bob told you, he's trying to take over the 8th spot from Bill Elliott.
Well, Bill Weber, you were right, because last lap, Jeff Burton ran a 119.095, and everybody else was in the 118s and even a 117 in the top 6.
Just that moving up the racetrack just a little bit allowed Burton to get an extra grip, a little more grip, and run around the racetrack faster. And Rusty Wallace was doing it first. Jeff Burton's spotter, Bobby Hudson, as Bill said, noticed it, called his driver. He did it and said, wow, I like that.
Keeps the car a little bit freer.
And in the wall up in turn number 1 is Michael Waltrip. Looks like he has had hard contact.
Outside, just watch your back, slow up.
A lot of damage to Michael's car, the rear of it.
Michael had moved up 10 positions since the start of the race. He began from the 40th position and had moved up to 30th before the incident down in turn 1, and the back end of that car is really demolished.
That's nasty. Let's see if we can see what might have happened to Michael Waltrip. There he is on the inside of the 50 car, and he just gets loose in the corner, like almost like on a dirt track. And watch this. Listen. Bobby Hamilton almost slides and crashes.
And Jeremy Mayfield's got damage, Ned.
Well, it's got a flat tire, I think, Bob. The right front tire, you see, is completely flat on that car. So they'll have a tough time getting the jack under. Said, lift it up, guys. Okay, he's got it now.
Now the question, can he change the right size and get back out before the pace car comes by? It looks like he's going to be able to.
Yeah, in fact, they're going to even go to the left side and change
wow,
those
now
as well.
So 4 new tires for Jeremy Mayfield. The field is in turn number 4, and everybody else is coming in as Mayfield goes out. So here comes Burton and Wallace and Nadeau and Bobby Labonte, and everybody, probably just about everybody, will come in. Here's Jerry Punch.
Well, guys, Rusty Wallace is one of the very few drivers I heard not complain of a car that had a push and beating tight in the middle of the corner. Rusty said, don't change a thing. 4 tires, clean the windshield, fill it up with gas, and I'm ready to go, guys. You said earlier, his 3rd brand new car of the year. Let's go to Bill Weber.
No changes, just 4 tires and fuel. Remember, this team battled on pit stops a week ago. They put their guys back in position. 99 will beat them off, followed by the 2, the 18, the 22, and the 25 almost get together.
On 4 tires. They made an air pressure adjustment to make the car a little bit tighter off the turns. The only adjustment for Dale Jr., air pressure.
And now just about everybody is off of pit road. The leader of the race is going to be Sterling Marlin. Back with more in a moment. Still under caution here at Richmond International Raceway. John Kernan has a report from pit road.
Down in the garage area with Michael Waltrip. Michael, the night ended early for you. What happened?
Man, we started last, and our car was so good. I moved up 10 spots at least and was real fast. And I was on the inside of Wally, and he just pinned me down going into 1. And we made a little contact, and the thing got sideways on me. It's my fault. I just hate it for the guys. We've had so many mechanical problems. We've been able to avoid the wrecks. And tonight, just got in a wreck. It hurts my heart. We had a good car.
But the good news is Michael is okay. The Dr. Jerry Punch.
And here in the Jeremy Mayfield pit, they're looking very closely, examining the right front tire that came off Jeremy's car. They're not sure if Jeremy ran over something. Let me ask Peter. Peter, did Jeremy run over something, or was that contact with Michael that may have done that?
That's what I was thinking, was contact with Michael Walter. Yeah.
You're just making sure to look at the tire how it was wearing.
It just looks like he cut it down.
Okay, that's the better news there. A lot of crew chiefs coming here taking a look. They've been applauding Goodyear, and they think that's what happened. There was contact. They're looking at the inner liner now, where the inner liner was actually ripped apart. They have the inner liner there in their hand, and they're looking at it with a flashlight to see exactly what might have happened. But Jeremy said the car was starting to slide a little bit, so the tire actually may have been going down somewhat. He may have had a slow leak, and that may have precipitated the problem, making it even worse.
Now, Benny, when Michael looks at the tape, he's going to know that it wasn't Wally Dallenbach. It was Ricky
Creighton. But it's a red car, and he thought it was Wally Dallenbach, but in fact it was Ricky Creighton, yes.
Well, Sunday night football on ESPN at 8:30 Eastern will be from Sun Devil Stadium in Phoenix, Arizona. The Dallas Cowboys and the Arizona Cardinals, with Troy Aikman out indefinitely. Randall Cunningham, who has been named to start this weekend, will be depending on veteran running back Emmitt Smith. Coverage begins with the NFL prime time at 7:30 on Sunday night. The Cowboys and the Cardinals on Sunday Night Football. We'll be right back. Well, they're having 2 wreckers now in use, getting Michael Waltrip's car off the racetrack after his accident down in turn number 1. Let's get you caught up on a couple of things that happened during this caution period. The number 31 of Mike Skinner was caught speeding on pit road. He's at the back of the field. Jeremy Mayfield pitted early. The 40 and the 1 cars, Ted Musgrave and Sterling Marlin, pitted late, so they have both been given credit for leading a lap. Doc?
Let me correct something. I misspoke a moment ago. We were showing you Jeremy Mayfield's tire. Now, this is not the inner liner. There are no inner liners here in a short track tire. This is actually the sidewall from the inside of the tire, and it's very hot. That's why I borrowed a glove to grab this thing up here. But it's the sidewall. Actually, it's been stripped away, not an inner liner. So I want to make sure we correct that for folks watching at home. And said, man, he knows better than that, and I do know better. I misspoke. It is the sidewall that we're looking at, and not the inner liner of a tire here on a short track. Guys?
All right, Doc, and you can see that that tire was just cut in two, and that the bead of the tire had fallen down inside the tire.
Well, the drivers are getting the 1 to go sign, so we'll be back to competition here in one more lap. Jeff Burton is back at the front of the field with Rusty Wallace, Bobby Labonte, Jerry Nadeau, and Ward Burton, the top 5. Let's take a look at a Coke pit summary and see where people fared in this most recent round of pit stops. Jeff Burton stayed the same. Jerry Nadeau lost 1 position. Dave Blaney from 25th to 8th.
You have to wonder if maybe he only changed right side tires.
Yep. Yeah. My guess is that's exactly what happened, or maybe fuel.
But it did give him track position, and that, as you guys have said earlier, is very, very important. Tony Stewart lost 4 spots. He was 8th when he came in for the pit stop and came out in the 12th position. Well, let's go again as the green flag comes out to resume the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400.
Well, they all started in single file this time for the first time tonight, but they were all single file, but take them on doubling up. Right here.
And Jeff Gordon went quickly past Dave Blaney. He's up on the outside of Mark Martin. There you see him. And he goes by Mark Martin, moves into the 7th position.
You're right. Dave Blaney did get just right side tires. That was the reason that he has gained so many positions on this round of pit stops. Now here's Tony Stewart to the inside of Jimmy Spencer as they contest the 12th spot.
A lot of crew chiefs right now will be having that stopwatch on the 93 car and see just how fast that Blaney is running and just how badly the 2 tires will affect his car. If he runs as fast as some of the rest of these cars, that's what we'll be seeing from a lot of these cars later on.
Yeah, sometimes they tested early in the race, and you're right, others will pay attention to what went on with that one car.
Steve Park just went into the top 5, passing Ward Burton.
Now you see with these 4 fresh tires, all these cars right on the bottom of the racetrack. They'll end it on the inside of Blaney. Tony Stewart still trying to get by Jimmy Spencer.
And Rusty Wallace has caught right up with Jeff Burton, and now the battle is for the lead. Trying to make it a clean sweep the last couple of days. He won the pole yesterday evening. He won the Busch race last night, trying for the trifecta here this evening. But Rusty Wallace is right there to challenge on the bottom of the racetrack, and that car went right around the yellow line.
And he knows he needs to try, if he's going to do it on the bottom of the racetrack, he needs to do it early while those tires are still relatively new. But he didn't make it work that time. It's so hard to get traction off to the bottom side of the racetrack. And your angle is not what it needs to be coming off of there below another car.
That's the biggest problem, Ed, when Rusty Wallace goes to the bottom of the racetrack, down in 1 and 2. He's okay here, but when he comes off, he needs the entire racetrack. He needs to let the thing drift up right against the outside retaining wall. When you're trying to pass someone, you can't do that. That really affects your speed around the track.
And once again, Tony Stewart is still working on Jimmy Spencer. And Bill Weber, he's not been able to do it yet.
Still working to get a position back on the track. Lost positions while while he was on pit road, Bob, because they had a lug nut fall off of one of the rear tires during their pit stop. That cost him track position while he was stopped on pit road.
That's unbelievable. During a pit stop, if one lug nut falls off, it's going to cost Tony Stewart 3 or 4 spots. He finally just gives up on that bottom groove.
Dale Earnhardt taking the position from Kenny Wallace. That was the 17th position.
That 21 car of Elliott Sadler seems like it's painted differently every weekend. There it is this weekend. He's riding alongside Kevin LePage as they race for the 21st position.
Elliott is losing positions right now, Bob. He was up in the 17th position just about 5 laps ago. He's being shown in 20th now, and several cars there. You see Kevin LePage trying to pass him on the outside.
Whoa, John Andretti gets bumped around, and like he may have had contact with the wall.
It was close if he didn't. Jeffrey Bodine in the power team number 60. Remember just how well that car ran here in May when his brother Todd relieved him?
And another crash up in turn number 2. Jeffrey is involved.
And 21 car of Elliott Sadler. Isn't that 21?
Yes, yep. It is. We were just looking at that group of cars. We saw how tight they were running.
Jeffrey Bodine is in his 550th NASCAR Winston Cup start.
Boy, he just drove right into the back of you.
Looks like Elliott Sadler's car has got the worst of it.
And this weekend he was carrying Virginia Tech on the side of the car, trying to do something for his fellow Virginia folks. It's not going to be.
Well, let's see who ran into the back of who. Well, there was a little contact there from the 43 on the 60 and shot the 60 up into the 21.
Yeah, that's exactly what it looks like, Ned. And both those cars, I don't know that the 60 car hit that hard. Let's see if we can see going down in 1. There's the 60, the 43. There's space there as they go out of the shot. The 60 snapped around so quickly, you would think there was contact. It's awfully hard to tell, but as quick as the 60 snapped around, that's what you would think happened.
3.
Jeffrey Bodine makes it around to his pit stall, and they
middle of the backstretch.
Go to work on the right side of that car, the Power Team Chevy. So another caution here because of an accident up in turn number 2 involving Jeffrey Bodine and Elliott Sadler. We'll be going back to green flag racing here in less than a lap at Richmond International Raceway. Well, tomorrow, coverage of the Kart FedEx Championship Series begins with qualifying at 1:30 on ESPN2. Kart today at 2:30, and then at ESPN at 3 o'clock, it's the Honda Grand Prix of Monterey. The Kart FedEx Championship Series in action tomorrow here on ESPN. For more, log on to ESPN.com.
Well, the green flag's about to come out, and Jeffrey Bodine is still in the pits.
And so is Chad Little, and the 40 car, Sterling Marlin, was caught speeding on pit road, so he's at the back of the field.
The 44 car and the 97 both, I'm told, ran the paddle at the end of pit road. The man that stands down with a stop and go, he put it at the stop. They did not, so they were black flag for running that paddle.
And that's a 1-lap penalty. Look at Steve Park coming down the inside of Bobby Labonte as Rusty goes on the inside of Burton going into turn 1.
Well, now battle for the lead. Rusty to the inside of Burton. I don't think he's going to do it, but Steve Park did take over that 3rd position. Steve started 12th here tonight and has been moving up quickly.
I remember a couple of races ago that Steve Park really had the field covered here, and he got caught up in an accident or something as Rusty makes that trial one more time, but it just don't work. It's so difficult to get the traction, and as Danny pointed out, you need to have it pointed in a different direction when you start off of those corners.
See who's the fastest. Well, the first time it was Rusty, and now that last lap it was Burton.
Look at that, 120 miles per hour exactly for Jeff Burton.
has an update on the 3 car of Dale Earnhardt, who's way back in the 27th spot.
Bob Dale had moved up into the top 20, but the car was just a little too tight, so they took the opportunity during this caution to have a pit stop, take on 4 tires. They made a wedge adjustment, pulled the rubber out of the right front to kind of loosen the race car up for Earnhardt. We'll have to wait and see exactly what those adjustments did. If they're, I guess we can tell pretty soon on the racetrack, I would think.
Well, he just moved up to 24th. He did pass Scott Pruitt, and so Earnhardt is in 24th, and now there's Jeremy Mayfield, who is going to be his next victim.
Wow, he just moves right on around him with the fresher tires, and even though they're fresher only by maybe 10 laps or so, it still makes a world of difference. He's able to keep it down on the inside and get the traction off the turn.
Well, Dale Earnhardt has been eligible to win the No Bull $5 million bonus 6 times, but he has yet to win that. Bobby Labonte has been eligible 8 times, hasn't won. The only one of the top 5 eligible tonight who has won, Dale Jarrett, and he's won twice. Now, these drivers are also playing, if you will, for a lucky fan. And if they win $1 million, the fan will win $1 million, and that's who the fans are paired up with here tonight.
Well, here is a gaggle of cars. Earnhardt moves in under Ricky Rudd. He's been going at John Andretti. He's in this crew. It seems like he's been in the big pack since the start of the race.
And another big pack of cars here. There's Casey Atwood in the Motorola-sponsored number 19, making his NASCAR Winston Cup debut here this evening under the direction of Ray Evernham, who will be his car owner next year. Now, the car that he's driving here tonight is a Bill Elliott car.
It's a Ford, of course. All the Dodgers next year.
Yep, all the Dodgers next year.
Yeah, it was interesting to see to go by Ray Evernham's transporter today and see all the guys hanging around and see all the Dodge folks hanging around the transporter, and Casey Atwood was driving a Ford. Didn't look quite right, but we understand next year they're very interested in how this young man fares tonight.
Oh, a 3 wide here with Andretti, Brett Bodine, and Dale Earnhardt. Oh, they ran all the way through the corner.
Contact there. Wow.
Didn't work.
And a battle for second as Steve Park continues to march toward the front. You'll remember that Steve started second here in the earlier race and finished in 11th. Got a little bit loose coming off the corner there and lost his momentum. But he's looking pretty good.
Oh, it looks like it's working very well.
On board with Rusty Wallace. Father and son are wheel to wheel out there as the son is on the outside and the father is on the inside, and they are battling for the 19th, make that 18th position. Eligible for the bonus. And you can tell the ones that are by the red numeral on the top of the car. Pennzoil Copter Cam is circling overhead and giving us these aerial shots of the 3/4 mile at Richmond International Raceway.
And Dale Earnhardt, the 3, Goodrich Chevrolet, seem to be making more progress on the bottom of the racetrack than anyone else we've seen all night long.
He's made an impressive run up through the field after that pit stop.
See, Dale Earnhardt on the restart, since the restart, on lap 61, he was 29th, and he's worked his way up to 18th, and he's doing it, as I said, on the bottom of the track.
Mayfield and Ricky Rudd are contesting the 23rd position. That's Kevin LePage trailing. Ricky Rudd, a former winner of a race here at Richmond. He won the spring event. It was held back in February in 1984 when he won. Last time the car that Ricky Rudd is driving tonight was on the racetrack. It was into the wall at Pocono in July. They put a new snout on it and a right frame rail and 2/3 of the body. The car is also raced at Martinsville and in the first Pocono race. This is the 4th time that this car has competed this year. While we're watching this battle will tell you that Tony Stewart just took away the 8th position from Mark Martin.
I think Tony, when that lug nut fell off during the pit stop, has fallen back to about the 12th position. So before this gets all sorted out, we'll get all these good cars together before the night's over. Tony Stewart will get up there, and we'll see who's holding what.
About 13, a little more than 13 seconds behind the front runners. Here is Stewart, who has found his teammate, if you will, or at least rowmate when they started this race. They started side by side, and Tony Stewart now takes away that 7th position, and Tony took her below the yellow line.
Yes, sir. He was right on the bottom of the racetrack. Haven't seen many cars been able to do that. Dale Earnhardt has won this Goodwrench Chevrolet. He's on the bottom of the track.
Again, we see 2 Noble 5 drivers running together. This is for 16th and 17th, and right behind him is another contender, Matt Kenseth.
Earnhardt's car still working down on the bottom side of the track. Very good. So whatever adjustment they made in those 4 new Goodyears they put on there has put him on the go.
Well, 3 cars have been designated now as officially out of the race. Jeffrey Bodine, Elliott Sadler, and Michael Waltrip. And for Michael Waltrip, it's his 8th DNF this year, and that ties him with Bobby Hamilton for most DNFs. Rusty Wallace, his crew watches him in 2nd position. He's trailing Jeff Burton with 81 laps completed. At the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond International Raceway, Jeff Burton has about a 6-car length lead on the battle for 2nd position, and that battle is between Rusty Wallace, and he sees to his left Steve Park right on the bottom of the racetrack. Let's see who comes out with 2nd place. Well, Rusty holds him off.
Steve Park made a run at Rusty Wallace 10 or 15 laps ago, and he went up there, run the bottom of the racetrack, trying to pass Rusty. Saw that he was going to have to use the tires up too much, so he backed off, and he's now making another run at Rusty, and it looks like it's going to be as difficult now as it was 10 or 15 laps ago.
And while Jeff Burton has been trying to get around the lap car of Chad Little, they've caught up to him, and Rusty's going to try to seize the opportunity.
Wallace looking for the lead. Got him pinned up on the high side of the racetrack between Chad Little, and Rusty will take the lead. He'll get the 5 bonus points. Whoa, and Rusty is way out of control.
Wow, you're right. When you said way out of control, you did not misspeak, Bob Jenkins.
Well, he maintained his position, though, and does pick up the bonus lap points for leading a lap. That, by the way, puts Chad Little now 2 laps down. The only cars that are not on the lead lap and still in the race are Steve Grissom, who is 2 laps down, and now Chad Little, 2 laps down.
And both of them were penalized to lap 4, running the stop sign on a yellow flag pit stop.
Now the battle is for 2nd between Park and Burton.
And the bottom of the racetrack just still can't get the grip down there that you need.
Well, BP, let's look at it again.
Folks, this is something. Watch this. Rusty comes off the corner, and look at this thing go, and he somehow brings it back and maintains his momentum. Normally, when you bring the car back, you have to back off the gas, and you also got to get your heart beating again.
Yeah. Close call for Rusty. Heads to the high side.
Oh, but Jeff Burton does not want to get on the outside. It looks like he's going to be able to do that. Oh, I see why he can do that, because Jeff Burton's on the inside of Ted Musgrave in that Bell South 01 car.
So now Ted goes a lap down in 38th position.
Rusty Wallace, as you can see now, has a couple of cars between himself and the 2nd place car.
Ward Burton Burton and Jeff Gordon are running 7th and 8th. They're about 5 3/4 seconds behind the leader. Well, Steve Park takes second position from Jeff Burton.
Going by Wally Dallenbach. You see the 18 car, Bobby Labonte, has just about caught up with that group.
He has. He was back about 3 or 4 seconds, and now he's got it down to about 2 seconds from the leader, but he's up with the 99. Pretty close.
Bill Weber has more.
Well, it's been an interesting night so far for the 22 of Burton and the 24 of Gordon. Ward's car was loose early on. They tightened him up on that first stop, and then Ward said the car is a ton better. Now it's a little bit too tight. Just the opposite for Gordon. His car was too tight at the beginning, but they did loosen him up, and that improved the ride. One other thing about Gordon, they are looking at a potential overheating problem. Temperature's been up around 230, comes back down to 210, and starts to climb a little bit. No talk about it the last few laps, though.
Ward just did lose the 7th position to Gordon. Ward has made his Winston Cup debut here at Richmond in March of 1994. His most recent top 5 came at Bristol on the short track in the early part of the year. Finished 3rd at Bristol. Up front, it is still Rusty Wallace showing the way. And you can see back there the second place car of Steve Park. Jeff Burton running in 3rd. But Rusty Wallace is now in the lead. He has been there for the last 9 laps as we are approaching the 1/4 mark here at Richmond. For the 3rd time tonight, the caution is waving over Richmond. Jeremy Mayfield ran into the wall and flattened the right front once again. Pit stops are underway. Here's the doctor.
And Rusty Wallace comes into his pits. His first pit stop, 15.5 seconds. They will put on 4 tires, make no changes. Rusty said the windshield is okay, and the car is essentially perfect. 2, 1, and 99. As you watch Rusty Wallace at the top of your screen, Steve Park at the 99, up Jeff Burton. Let's go down to Burton's pit and Bill Weber.
Second stop for Park. Again, no changes. Left side tires going on. He gets away, waiting on Jeff Burton as well.
Rusty with a 15.7. Jeff Burton an 18-second pit stop down to John Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt was in for 4 tires. They were a little slow on the left rear, 16.7 seconds on Earnhardt's stop. No adjustments.
A little bit of a fire there at the back end of Kenny Schrader's car.
What happened? Jeremy Mayfield made a pit stop with that flat tire. They changed 4 tires. He started to lead. He got in Kenny Schrader's pit box and stopped for some reason. He backed up, and when he backed up, there was something burning left in Kenny Schrader's pit stall, and it kept burning when Schrader made his pit stop. As soon as they spilled any gasoline making a pit stop, the gasoline ignited, and it was pretty big there for a second.
I saw that piece, whatever it was, burning down there in his pit stall, and I thought that the crew would stamp it out or something before they made the stop.
What's the smoke there? There's some smoke coming from Schrader's car now. Jerry Punch, what's going on?
Benny, the 12 car, so you're exactly right. The 12 car came through. They lost a brake pad. It was the brake pad that ignited whatever was on the ground there in the 36 pit, and that's where the problem was. The brake pad off the 12 car for Mayfield, and that's what precipitated the entire fire. So, but Mayfield's got bigger problems. They'll continue to look at the tires that are rubbing on the fender there and coming away. But obviously a scary moment there for Kenny Schrader and the M&M's team.
Well, here's why we're under caution and why Jeremy has another problem here tonight.
The right front tire, once again, the second time tonight we've seen Jeremy Mayfield's right front tire go flat. Now, there was not a lot of damage or contact with the outside retaining wall. He might have scrubbed the wall, but not a lot of damage. The problem is they're trying to knock the fender back out. I guess they're afraid that the fender's cut the tire.
And probably when the tire went flat and it started tearing apart, that's what tore up the front end as opposed to the wall.
So Jeremy Mayfield, who looked so good for a while at Darlington last Sunday, has had all kinds of problems. Here tonight is 2 laps down already with 108 completed. Rusty continues to lead.
3 days.
Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 under caution again for the 3rd time tonight. 110 laps completed. They'll be going back to green this next time around. All right, here's another Coke pit summary for you. Wallace maintains his position. So does Park. Earnhardt moves up 5. And Blaney loses 4 positions. Matt Kenseth moves up 5 spots.
Most impressive thing there is Earnhardt. You remember he changed 4 tires when his pit stop on lap 56 and went to the end of the line. He worked his way back to 15th. Then he made this pit stop. He's already up to 10th.
I think it's reasonable to say we can
Go
for him to work his way on up a little bit further.
Jeff Burton, the next sidecar, back in 4th spot. He's basically been about the class of the field tonight. Let's see if he can work his way back to the front.
Burton has led 88 of the first 112 laps. Rusty Wallace has led 22. Marlin and Bobby Labonte have led a lap each. From the points leader, Bobby Labonte, we look back to Jeff Burton. Tried on the outside, couldn't do it. See what he does down in 3 and 4.
He's going to try it again, and I'm sure that Bobby Labonte's spotter is warning him that Berg's on the outside. Yes, there he goes. He'll take that spot away.
Car 01 of Ted Musgrave is 1 lap down.
Side by side with somebody since the green flag dropped. It's Ricky Rudd this time.
He has been in a thick battle of competition all the way. He's earned his money.
See Dave Blaney there in the Amoco car.
Oh, here's a good battle, and this is up in the 5th, 6th, and 7th positions. That's Stewart, Jerry Nadeau, and Jeff Gordon. Ward Burton right behind him.
I think what we've seen tonight, I think Tony Stewart has a good race car tonight. If he ever gets up there with the 1, the 99, and the 2, I think he'll be able to race with him.
Well, he's pretty close in terms of positions, but still a little bit of racetrack to go before he catches up with the Bobby Labonte car that's running 4th. Here comes Earnhardt to the inside of Elliott.
He's 4-9.
Go down to John Curtin for a report.
I know a little bit earlier you remarked on how Dale Earnhardt was making his moves on the bottom of the racetrack. The car is running well there, but it's also out of necessity because Earnhardt thinks they might have put too low a gear in the rear end. So if he runs the higher groove, he's got to let off a little bit earlier going into the corner so he doesn't get the RPMs. He doesn't turn the engine a little too much and damage it. So keep an eye on Earnhardt and the line that he runs out there, because if he stays on the bottom, he should be able to keep the RPMs in the range that he wants to.
Well, no, he doesn't have any problem down the backstretch. He can run whatever groove he wants to, 1 and 2. Here's where the problem is. He gets too high coming off 4. This long front straightaway, 1,290 feet. That right here is where he'll turn the engine too many RPMs. That's where he's got to back off.
And that's the fastest part of the racetrack.
6 or 7 miles per hour faster than the backstretch.
From Casey Atwood's onboard camera, watch to the right of your screen. Dale Jarrett into the wall. Wow.
Kind of brushed the wall when he came off the corner.
DJ is running back in the 12th spot right now as we keep an eye on the 2nd place car of Steve Park up ahead.
Oh, and Joe Nemechek slammed that wall.
Trouble in 1, 33 up against the wall. Caution is out.
Boy, he has had very hard contact. John, what happened?
Bob, I have a sneaking suspicion that a valve stem on the left rear tire of Joe Nemechek's car was knocked out. Just before that, coming down the front straightaway, he got together with Kenny Wallace, and I'm betting he either cut the tire down or he knocked the valve stem off of that left rear tire.
Well, there's a piece of debris that all those cars are running over. Yeah, something Joe Nemechek, just when he got down to the corner, just violently snapped around. And John, you're certainly what it looks like. But here he comes off the corner. The 33 on the outside, the 55. And right there, we see where they rub. We saw the smoke. Now the 33 goes down in the corner. And watch this. The car just snapped around. The left rear tire is flat.
Yep.
Yes.
See it go flat.
Boy, John Kernan was right on top of that, knowing what happened there.
Yes, he was. Attaboy, John.
Wow. It happened so quickly. A hard hit by Joe Nemechek. We saw him moving around in the cockpit, taking the gloves off. There he is walking around. He is okay. But a big disappointment tonight for Nemechek, who started back in the 29th position. Well, we're under caution for the 4th time this evening, as 122 of 400 laps have been completed at the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. ESPN's coverage of the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 from Richmond is being brought to you by Budweiser. With the crisp, clean, refreshing taste you'll find in no other beer. This Bud's for you. And by Conseco. And the Conseco Pontiac is currently running in 19th position as we are under caution. Jeremy Mayfield makes another pit stop. Jerry, is there a common thread with this tire problem for Jeremy?
Well, Bob, not really. The first problem Jeremy had was actually from contact with the Michael Waltrip car. He had a cut on the right front tire. Now, this most recent one was not from contact, not from something rubbing on the car. The team is telling me they think it may be from the heat off the brake calipers and brake rotors. And this tire came off here probably 10 minutes ago, and it is still steaming hot. In fact, it's too hot for the teams and the Goodyear engineers to even examine, but they think that it may be just the heat off the brake rotors. Now, I just been handed a note here a moment ago. 1,400 degrees on the front rotors. They're using fairly large rotors and calipers here to be able to try to stop the car so you can drive them in the corners and jump on the brakes and get it to turn. And that may be the problem with Jeremy, excessive heat melting the bead. In fact, Jeremy asked on the radio about the brake adjusting valves, the little adjusters they use in the car, if they may be maybe backwards somewhere. And he said no. The crew said no, not so whatsoever. But apparently he's getting a lot of heat in that right front brake area, and that's the reason for this right side tire.
He's coming in once again, and he has fallen 2 laps down now in 39th spot. Here's a Napa Field summary for you, showing you where everybody is running right now. The top 15 led by Rusty Wallace, then the pole sitter Jeff Burton and Steve Park, who has had a great race here in the first 126 laps. There's 16 through 30. Kevin LePage tops that. Page. Strickland running in 30th position, and there you see that we have 3 cars out of the race, and Joe Nemechek, the most recent victim.
NASCAR Passing by
Caution continues here at Richmond. They're having the same problem with Nemechek's car they did with Waltrip. They may require 2 wreckers to get that car off the racetrack, so we remain under our 4th caution of the evening. There is Joe's car down in turn number 1. It looks like they're going to be able to drag it off with just 1.
Well, I don't think so. You're right when you said drag, and that's the only way we're going to get to go anywhere.
Dale Jarrett is running in the 12th position here, and Bill Weber, did that bump with the wall a little bit earlier hurt him any?
So far, they don't believe so, Bob. We can take a look at it, and you'll see it from Casey Atwood's onboard camera. The cars will come through turns 3 and 4. Here they are coming off of 4. Watch Jarrett on the right side of your screen just drift high and hit the wall. Now, you never just tap or brush the wall, although that didn't appear to be that severe. He ran about 5 laps under green before the caution came out, said it feels fine. Mark Martin did pull up, checked on it. Todd Parrott, his crew chief, told me that it looks okay. So right now they're confident that that car is going to be all right. Obviously, they'll find out again when they go back to green. But Jarrett did run about 5 laps under green before the caution came out, said it felt okay.
Well, Dale Jarrett is the reigning NASCAR Winston Cup champion. Who will win it in the year 2000? Well, right now, Bobby Labonte is at the top of the point standings by 111. And right now, he's the subject of our spotlight.
Favorite thing is the chance to race and be competitive week in and week out. Of course it is. I mean, that's what we like to do. But I love what I'm doing. It's a lot of fun. Jeff Gordon was definitely, we started off at the same time, Rookie of the Year. Well, gee whiz, look what happened to him, you know? So it's like, that's a pretty tough competitor right there. I mean, he's won a lot of races and, you know, a lot more than I have. You know, it's like, you know, maybe one of these days we'd like to be the good car. Yeah, that would be pretty good, wouldn't it? You can get your teeth knocked in because you think you got it figured out. You really don't, because it's so competitive down the line through the top 43 cars that Rusty Wallace, Dale Earnhardt, Terry Labonte will have it figured out better than you will tomorrow if you think you have it figured out today.
10 races to go in the 2000 Winston Cup season, and Labonte holding on to the lead that he has held since California in April.
He's in 4th position now as we get ready to restart. They were given the signal as he came by the start-finish line the last time. 1 lap, and we'll go racing again.
Once again, the top 15. Earnhardt back in 10th spot.
John Kernan is with Joe Nemechek, who had a hard hit of the wall.
Bob Joe's been checked out in the infield care center. Joe, you all right?
Oh, yes. Just want to say hello to Andrea and all my family back at home. Now I made it up. I'm okay. That's probably the hardest lick I ever taken. Cut the left rear tire down going in turn 1, and that's the first time that's ever happened to me, and it was a wild ride.
Fortunately, Joe is all right, Bob.
And the race is back under green.
See Chad Little on the bottom of the racetrack there, trying to get a lap back. He is 2 laps down. Racing Rusty Wallace hard.
There were several of the lap cars that made pit stops. Chad might have been one of them. I'm not sure, but I know Terry Labonte and several others that were lapped down did make a pit stop, so could have on fresher tires. We did have 31 cars on the lead lap. Now we only have 30 because Ricky Craven lost a lap during a pit stop on the caution flag.
Well, Chad Little will not get that lap back from Rusty Wallace. Now, the next question to be answered, can Jeff Burton pass Rusty Wallace?
And last lap, Burton was just a little bit faster than Rusty. Rusty ran a 120.0 and Jeff was at a 120.2. Noble 5 contenders up in the upper left of your screen, and where they are currently running. We have just 2 in the top 10, but Jared is knocking on the top 10 door. Matt Kenseth is in 14th, and Dale Earnhardt Jr. is the one who is furthest back. He's currently 26th.
Well, he made a pit stop during this last caution period. That's the reason he's back as far as he is.
Kevin LePage, the 16 car, Johnny Benson, 10 car, and John Andretti. And Benson tries to get on the inside. Back for the 16th position. Man, a battle for the lead. Burton's going to try it on the inside. Can he do it?
Well, we're going to answer that question that you asked BP a couple of laps ago. He is trying. So far has been unsuccessful and will cool his tires here maybe for a lap.
Well, he's going to try it again, is he? No. He wants to make Rusty Wallace think he's going to try it on the inside and hope that Rusty goes to the bottom so he can go to the outside. He tried to trick old Rusty, but not his first rodeo.
That's right.
And he's going to try it on the bottom again.
They have a pretty good run going here.
Yeah, but Rusty's on that outside groove.
And while that battle rages, not too far behind in third is Steve Park. Terry Labonte in the 5, Casey Atwood in the 19. Behind them, Dale Earnhardt and Bill Elliott.
On on board with Casey Atwood, the Motorola onboard camera. Looks back at Terry Labonte. Both Atwood and Labonte a lap down. They're battling for the 32nd position.
Casey Atwood's just hoping to get a lot of laps in. I heard him. I was down in their stall in the garage this morning. Ray Evernham, after they made the field, said, "Okay, we've accomplished goal 1. Our goal 2 is to finish the race." And then he said, "On the lead lap."
Jimmy Spencer and Johnny Vincent are going at it. That's for the 17th position. And there is Rick Mast, who is running in 20th spot.
Rick is trying to get on the inside of Kevin LePage.
Thought they bumped a little bit, or Kevin got a little bit loose on the outside. Maybe they didn't bump, but came close. Mast in happy hour was trying to make his Pontiac work down on the inside of the racetrack, and we're doing a pretty good job of it, Ken.
Rick started up in the 4th position, is currently 19th.
Like they're going by the 75 car of Wally Dallenbach, the Roto-Zip car. All right, here we see Tony Stewart trying to take over that 4th spot and does it.
See, Bobby Labonte didn't fight him there. He just probably eased off the gas a little bit and let Tony drift on out to the wall, take the position away. Bobby's driving a very smart race, as he has most of the year.
Jerry has more from pit road.
Guys, since the green flag waved, Bobby Labonte said that car's been pushing like a dump truck. They came in on the first pit stop on lap 33 and went 2 rounds on the track bar, air pressure right front and left front and left rear to try to help it. And that helped it some. Now, their next pit stop on lap 105, they pulled a rubber out of the left rear, and that's helped it a lot more. They still need a little bit more forward bite. But Bobby says the car is getting better and better, and he's managing his tires, his time, and most importantly right now, he's managing that points lead.
And that's one thing that he has done well since he took the points lead. The top 10 are Wallace, Jeff Burton, Steve Park, Tony Stewart, and Bobby Labonte, the top 5. Then Jerry Nadeau, Jeff Gordon, Ward Burton, Bill Elliott, and Dale Earnhardt. 148 laps completed at Richmond. Rusty Wallace continues to lead the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Jeff Burton 2nd and Steve Park running in 3rd position.
And these cars are so equally matched. It's really incredible. I don't know how anybody can pass anybody because they all run the same speed.
Here's back in 21st, 22nd, 23rd on board with Mike Skinner, who's been trying to hold off Dale Earnhardt Jr. for the last several laps.
Ever see Mike Skinner's Lowe's Home Improvement Warehouse Chevrolet and the Bud Chevrolet of Earnhardt Jr. and behind them is the Jasper vehicle of Robert Presley, the blue car.
'31 got real loose a couple of laps ago.
Dale Jr. pitted and changed 4 tires, and he restarted about the 29th position. He's worked his way up to 22nd. But right, he is hitting a brick wall.
In the form of Mike Skinner.
Kind of like my weight losing program. Hit a brick wall.
Jerry Nadeau continues a good run. He's 6th. Up ahead of him is Bobby Labonte, who is 5th. And Jeff Gordon is back there in the 7th position.
Jeff Gordon is 5.5 seconds behind the leader, Rusty Wallace.
Gordon's driving a brand new car here tonight. It has been tested, but has never raced until tonight. And again, John Andretti is running beside somebody. In this case, it's Rick Mast, but now he takes that position away. Well, now here comes Mast back.
He just can't get it. He likes company, doesn't he? Ooh, Bobby Hamilton almost cut into the wall. He might have gotten into the wall off of turn 2. He came off of there pretty slow. if he continues to go.
Andretti and Mast are racing for the 18th spot. For the taste of the race, here's some Jimmy Dean onboard telemetry with Rick Mast.
And down the backstretch, you can see 120, 130, about 134 mile per hour. And down the front straightaway, even on the bottom of the racetrack, I think you're going to see that he's going to be quicker. 144 miles per hour, so 10 miles per hour. Although he did come off turn 4 and let the car drift up on the racetrack, unlike down to 1 and 2 when he was bound down like he is right now.
Little contact there. Andretti up on the track.
Close again.
It's amazing how wide apart they are in the corner and how close they get together when they get to the straightaway. Mast might have him now. He might have him. No, here comes. Oh, man. Rick, you had him.
He thought he did, too.
Easy for you to say, sitting up here in the booth.
Yeah, exactly right.
Well, they're having fun.
Yep.
Saturday night racing. Yeah, he almost got him. Can he slide out there? Yeah.
Finally got him.
Right out there.
Well, here's another good battle. Spencer, Blaney, Martin, Benson.
See, that is 13th, 14th, 15th. Behind him is Kenseth. That's 16th, 17th. And our next car that comes in this picture would be Rick Mast at 18th. Mark Martin is not running as well as he usually does at Richmond.
No, he isn't. In fact, he slid back a few positions in the last 15 or so laps. He was up there in the 11th position, and now all the way back to 16th.
Mark has had 3 top 5s in the last 5 races here, but his other finishes were 32nd and 35th.
As we watch this, Jeff Gordon has moved in front of Jerry Nadeau, his teammate, to take over the 6th spot. And he's only about 0.2 of a second behind Bobby Labonte. There's Ricky Craven, the Midwest Transit 50 car. He is the lap down, as they told you. Made a pit stop.
Check on things up front.
Well, they're pretty close.
Yes, they are.
Rusty Wallace trying to put a lap on Hut Strickland in the car number 90. Hut is in 29th position, so that'll leave 28 cars on the lead lap.
Yeah, Hut normally drives a red car, but this week, Hills Brothers is promoting their decaffeinated brand of coffee, and so it's green.
As we watch this, the points leader, Bobby Labonte, the Interstate Batters Pontiac, he was about 2.5 seconds behind Rusty Wallace, the leader. Now he's fallen back to 6 seconds behind. So, as Jerry pointed out, they've been making changes on the Interstate Batters car, but they've got to make some more.
There's the 18 of Bobby Labonte running in 5th spot, about 5.8 seconds behind Rusty Wallace, who continues to lead here. Rusty has led now 80 laps. Jeff Burton has led 88. And Rusty is coming up on the 9 car of Stacy Compton, local Virginia driver, to put him a lap down in the 28th position. We'll take a break and be back with more live coverage in a moment from Richmond International Raceway. Welcome back to Richmond, where Rusty Wallace continues to lead, but the story of the last few minutes is Dale Jarrett. He came into the pits trailing sparks, indicating the right front was down, but it looks like that it's a pretty serious problem.
They're still working on the right front. Don't know exactly what they're doing, but they're still working. When they took the tire off, they found something. There you see the tire. Oh, I see. He made some pretty good contact with the wall up there, Ned.
Yes, it did. Apparently the tire went down or something. Anyway, it got into the wall and a lot of damage. And then until he got back to the pits, there was a lot of damage to that car. Jerry?
All
Unfortunately, you're right, Dan. A lot of damage in the right front of the Quality Care Service Ford Taurus. The man who sat second in the points coming into the night still sits on pit road, losing lap after lap under green. Now, Robert Yates standing beside me. I asked Robert a moment ago, was it a cut tire or could it have been the brake heat? They really don't know yet because it happened so quickly. Their big concern right now is trying to get some of the right front suspension back in order, get some of the fender cut away, and they still sit here as Todd Parrott and the crew work on the defending Winston Cup champion Ford on pit road and the green flag. And Rusty Wallace slows on the racetrack, guys.
Something's happened to Rusty. He's not at full song, and Steve Park has taken the lead.
His car is going down the straightaway like he has lost a cylinder. I mean, a cylinder has quit working, and we see some smoke out of the back of the 2 car.
Wow. Well, he had just tied Jeff Burton for most laps led at 88, and then all of a sudden the car slowed, allowing Park to go to the front. And Rusty indeed has some smoke coming from the Miller Lite Ford.
And we see he's about to lose a second spot as Jeff Burton pulls up on the outside, and there's nothing he can do.
There you see Ricky Craven coming down pit road in car number 50. We understand there's some smoke from it. Jeremy Mayfield's on the pit road with the hood up. Let's go back to the pits and Jerry Punch.
Well, Rusty Wallace, you're exactly right, guys. Lost a cylinder, and now we're getting a lot of vibration inside the engine. And Rusty said a moment ago, it may just be blowing up, guys. And what a great run he's had early on. He's just going to try to hang on, but it's just apparently getting worse and worse as the team stands and watches Rusty, a brand-new race car, the class of the field early on. And now he's riding on 7 cylinders at best and trying to be able to hang on as long as he can.
Even though Smokey's going by. Talking about Kenny Strader in 36 car.
And since he took the lead, Steve Park has stretched out his advantage over Jeff Burton. The official distance is 1.5 seconds, and he moved that up from 1.3 the previous lap. And look at Tony Stewart, who's in a position to challenge Burton for second.
And he's making that challenge down the backstretch. He had a great run off turn 2.
Got it.
Well, not so quick.
I said got it.
You're right, Bob.
I should never argue with you, Bob.
Oh, yeah, right. So Tony Stewart now second, Burton third, and another crash. Here's Dave Blaney visiting the wall. Third turn slides down the banking and onto the apron of the racetrack, but it does bring out our 5th caution of the evening.
And you can see the right.
Come on.
See the right rear tire was flat on the Dave Blaney automobile. And there's another car spun. Was that the 10 car? Or Kevin, there's another car spun. There's 2 cars spun back in the corner there.
And the other one is Jimmy Spencer.
Oh, man.
And he's got some major damage. So it was a 2-car incident up in the 3rd turn involving Blaney and Spencer. Here it is.
Oh, Spencer.
Whoa.
Spencer just gets. Oh, the 93 car was trying to go under the 26 car.
Yep.
So he was the victim of circumstances there.
He cut the right rear tire on Blaney's car down. Now all the leaders coming down pit road.
22 cars on the lead lap, and probably just about all of them will be making pit stops. Labonte the first to flank off and find his box. Wallace finds his mark. And now Steve Park. And that crew goes to work. Jerry?
Winston Cup points leader Bobby Labonte says the car is finally coming in. They're going to put a half-pound air pressure back in the right rear. Said otherwise don't touch it. 4 tires. Bill Weber.
4 tires and fuel for Park. He fights it at the beginning, but he's good on the long run. He's on his way.
Oh, a close battle off pit road between Park and Stewart.
And a very close battle between Jeff Gordon and Bobby Labonte.
Mass rolls out after getting his service.
And you saw Rusty Wallace also come out there, but the word on his car was that a big vibration, and he thinks it's blowing up. Well, the track crew is out there cleaning up the debris.
All right, let's check out the crew cam on the Pennzoil Chevrolet. Kelly Kellis, the front tire changer, takes the tire off. Trip Bruce throws it on there. He puts some lug nuts on. All right, let's go to the left side, guys. He switches the gun. Watch the sparks fly. That's awesome. Trip Bruce throws it on there. All right. All right, let's go. Good stop. All right. Yes. Man, don't you love it?
Well, under caution here at Richmond International. We'll be back with more in a moment. Tony Stewart now the leader. On board with a pace car, looking back to Tony Stewart, Steve Park, Jeff Burton, Bobby Labonte, and Jeff Gordon, the top 5, as we are within a half a lap of going back to racing from our 5th caution of the evening.
All right, those guys on the 20 car got your man out in front. Good pit stop, guys. Get a little something in the paycheck on Friday for that pit stop.
Okay, here we go. 22 cars on the lead lap.
Nearing the halfway point of the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Now being led by the Pontiac of Tony Stewart, but boy, look at Steve Park.
What a run that Park got on the outside.
Wow, he just drives around Tony.
It's like Tony Stewart is on 6 cylinders as Jeff Burton goes by. Is Tony Stewart on 6 cylinders? What's up?
Boy, something happened. Just in one lap, Stewart falls back to 3rd, giving the lead once again to Park. But now here's Jeff Burton challenging on the inside. This is the first time that Steve Park has led a race here at Richmond.
Really? I remember one night he ran so good, I thought he was leading the race, but I remember one night he had a tremendous run here a couple of years ago.
And Jeff Burton's got a tremendous run off the corner. That's always a tough spot. Are they going to make contact when they get off that corner? That time, they did not. Now Burton comes up, moves Park up the hill all he possibly can, all he thinks he can, without making contact.
And Burton will take the lead now on lap number 194.
12 car, Jeremy Mayfield has gone behind the wall. The 11 car, Brett Bodine sits on pit road.
And the 26 of Jimmy Spencer also went behind the wall for that crash on the backstretch. Well, Tony Stewart is maintaining his 3rd position at the moment, although Bobby Labonte is right on the rear spoiler of that car.
I got a feeling, Bob, that maybe that set of tires just doesn't feel right to him.
And Bill, what's wrong with Tony, if anything?
Bob, at the beginning of runs, his car is tight. So what they have is that car is set up for long runs, very similar to the Steve Park car, which he has to battle at the beginning of the run, but comes to him later in the run. Stewart's car is just tight at the beginning. He's got fresh tires on there, but they did have a great pit stop, 14.99. The car should come to him in a couple of laps, then he should start moving toward the front again.
Jeff Gordon back in the 5th position. Jerry Nadeau's in 6th. As you see, Ward Burton in 7th. Bill Elliott in 8th.
There's Ken Schrader in number 36. He is a lap down. He's the first car lap down in 23rd position. Staying on the low side of the track, giving those guys that high groove. They appreciate that.
Spencer is with John Kernan.
And Bob, for the 2nd week in a row, the 11 and the 26, some problems out there. Jimmy, do you think it might have been payback?
Payback? He caused the accident last week, and he deliberately hit me again. I guess NASCAR's going to have to do something, but I won't do nothing about it, you know. I'm just ashamed of the Kmart people and feel real bad for him. You know, we had a car capable of being in the top 5 for that Winston No Bull 5, and he ain't worth my sweat to go after. That's what I got to say.
In the payback department, I meant for what Jimmy had said last week. I wasn't inferring that Jimmy caused the problem last week. Bob?
Well, some strong words once again from Jimmy Spencer as he Takes the car behind the wall. We'll see if they can get it back out there, but it looked pretty bad when it went behind the wall. Now up front, once again, Steve Park and Jeff Burton are battling for the lead. We have completed the halfway point as they come down to complete lap number 201.
Park just couldn't make it happen down on the inside of the racetrack.
Let us refresh your memory going back to last Sunday. There's the incident between the 11 and 26 and the Pepsi Southern 500. And Jimmy Spencer had some strong words last week after that incident. And now here's what happened this week.
He come off the corner, and Jimmy said once again there was contact between the 26th and the 11 car once again. And Dave Blaney, unfortunately, gets caught up in the crash.
Steve Park takes the advantage once again.
Incidentally, Dave Blaney is still out on the racetrack. He is 1 lap down in 28th position.
Now there is Dale Jarrett, who is 17 laps down. He spent that much time on pit road, and it's going to ruin his 15 straight top 10 finishes. 15 straight finishes in the lead lap for Dale Jarrett, but not tonight. So Steve Park takes the lead once again from Jeff Burton as this battle between those two drivers continues in the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. We'll be right back.
Once Mark Martin puts the hammer down, it's pretty hard to get him to stop. Fortunately, the crew has its ways.
Do I hear steak on the grill?
WD brand steak.
Brings him in every time.
From the beef people.
Guys, it's getting real loose on me.
Rusty, pit next lap.
Pit next lap?
Pit next lap.
Are you sure?
Back at Richmond International Raceway, we're riding on board with Casey Atwood in his NASCAR Winston Cup debut. Well, the Bell Canadian Open is going on, and you can see the final round tomorrow on ESPN. Tiger Woods trying to become the only golfer since Lee Trevino in 1971 capture the triple crown of golf, the U.S., the British, and the Canadian Opens. That's at 5 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. How did Tiger do today, BP?
You know, you thought those guys had a chance when he shot 72 on Thursday, but he comes back with a 65 on Friday and a 64 today. He's tied for the lead with Grant Wade, 15 under for the tournament.
Wow, watch it tomorrow at 5 on ESPN. Moments ago, watch the 19 and the 9. That's Casey Atwood and the 9 of Stacy Compton.
Oh, and Earnhardt goes up. Almost got out of control. Almost as he chased that car up the hill. He made contact with the left rear. Oh, good job, Junior. Good job, Casey. And attaboy, Rick. Got another spot.
Got 18th.
And these guys are battling for position.
Yeah, neither one of them are on the lead lap, but they're battling for the 27th spot. Casey Atwood comes to the NASCAR Winston Cup Series after having 2 victories and 6 pole positions in the Busch Series. Here is
an old guy, 20 years old.
Yeah, right. John has more on this battle, if you will, between Spencer and Brett Bodine.
Bob, I went down to Brett Bodine's pit to talk to a number of his crewmen and even his crew chief, Mike Hillman. Mike tells me that Brett didn't tell them anything on the radio about the incident. I guess I should say alleged incident with Jimmy Spencer, since quite honestly I haven't seen it yet either on tape down here because I've been running around too much. But one of the crewmen pulled me aside and they said, John, you know Brett Bodine, no matter what happened last week, he's not going to run someone over on purpose. So their crew standing behind their driver saying that Brett did not take Spencer out intentionally.
All right. The 4-car, Bobby Hamilton, has a problem and is on pit road and going to go behind the wall, it looks like.
Didn't you tell me when Michael Waltrip fell out that he tied Bobby Hamilton for the most DNS for the year?
Yep.
Well, I believe now Bobby Hamilton is retaking that lead.
And that's a lead you don't want.
No. Yep. He now has 9. Bobby Hamilton has 9. DNS did not finish his for the year 2000. Man, it's cruel.
If he's done for the evening.
Trust me, he's done for the evening.
Okay, thank you.
I believe Tony's car is beginning to come in, guys.
Yep, you're right.
He's fast. Bobby Labonte now has caught Jeff Burton.
Well, Dale Jarrett came into this race 111 points behind Bobby Labonte, with whom we ride, but we're gonna watch this battle for a second here and complete that thought in just a moment. Stewart and Jeff Burton side by side all the way through the corner. Battle for second spot.
Jeff Burton's car is just not right now. A moment ago when Steve Park drove up behind him, it looked like it loosened the 99 car up. So the 99 Exide Ford right now has some handling problems. Maybe Frankie Stoddard and these guys will be able to adjust it on their next pit stop.
More from Bill.
What they're doing, Benny, is they're adjusting on it now during that last pit stop. They did make some changes on it, and here's the problem. At the end of the run, Jeff's car is getting very loose. In fact, he had called in before that last caution saying that the car is loose, and it gets that way at the end of the long run. So they've had to adjust for that. It is affecting the handle early in the run, but now everyone's starting to think longer runs here as we go along at Richmond. Your car has to be good at the end of those runs.
And so Tony Stewart now sets out for the leader, Steve Park, as Jeff Burton has fallen back to third position. Now let's back up on this point situation. Labonte again was 111 ahead when we entered this race, but now Jeff Burton has gained 2 positions, and Dale Jarrett has lost another 113 because of the problem that he had, dropping all the way back to 37th position. See that Tony Stewart has also gained 1. He's in 5th. And Rusty Wallace in 6th. That's points as of right now. Jerry has more on Rusty Wallace, and he is just about to get lapped.
Indeed, Bob. Rusty, as you said, was 5th in points entering tonight. Now, updating his engine situation after dominating early on, they think they have broken a rocker arm. And the good news for Rusty is that it's not getting any worse. So basically, it's just doomed to sit out there and ride and try to complete 400 laps. Robin Pemberton said, as many laps as you can complete, as many points as you can get, and keep the fenders on it. We want to use that car next week. So Rusty's hoping that they run for the next 176 laps.
Well, it was a brand new car that Rusty did bring here tonight. But things have not gone well. He now is a lap down. Steve Park continues to lead the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Park has now led 32 laps, and we've completed 224.
I see a little silhouette of a kind. Mountain Dew, time to do the slam dunk go. Citrus taste and quenching, very, very exciting me. Fantastico, Figaro. Here we go.
At Richmond International Raceway in Henrico County, Virginia, just outside the city limits of Richmond. The leader is the #1 car of Steve Park. The 77 car goes behind the wall. John?
And what a huge disappointment for Robert Presley and his crew. They had made up 22 spots since the start of the race, but problem with the engine overheating. They may have broken a head because they brought it in to put water in, would not take in any water, just pour it right back out. So Presley and the crew decided to put the car on the truck and take it home and come back and try again next week.
And you know, John, that's exactly what they did today in happy hour. They had an engine that started overheating. They pulled it out and put this engine in, and they have the same problem in the race.
In his 14 short track races prior to tonight, Steve Park had led a total of 40. He just led his 41st here tonight.
Skinner, the Lowe's Chevrolet, has gone a lap down. He's currently in 19th position. And that tide ride up you see up there, that would be the next car. We'll go a lap down if Steve Park can catch him. It looks like the 14 car is smoking, like he might have lost a cylinder, run on 7 cylinders.
He definitely slowed down. Rick Mast had a good run going. He's still shown in 20th position.
Well, let's look at his telemetry and see if we can detect a problem.
He should be running about, what, 144 down this straightaway? Oh, listen to that, he missed.
Yeah.
You hear it missed when he got down the other straightaway? And 135 miles per hour is all he could get it up to.
Up ahead of him is Bobby Labonte, who's running 4th. Jeff Burton, who's 3rd, and Tony Stewart, who is 2nd.
Once the battery's going dead, listen to this thing when he gets down the straightaway. And they decided to put the 77 car on the truck. It's done for the evening.
Seven cars now are out of competition. And there is the 32 car of Scott Pruitt. That will be the next car to go a lap down to Bobby Labonte. Here's Tony Stewart running in 2nd spot, about 2 1/4 seconds behind Steve. In 3rd position is going to be the 99 of Jeff Burton, not too far behind him. And in 4th spot is Bobby Labonte.
And not that far back, 40 cars, Sterling Marlin is a lap down. There's a 5th place car, Jeff Gordon, the DuPont Chevrolet.
Here comes the 6th place car. There he is, Ward Burton, car number 22.
He's going to get by the 25 car of Jerry Nadeau, the MichaelHolligan.com Chevrolet. There he is, the blue and white car. And Bill Elliott, good run going tonight.
Bill is in 8th, trying to take away that 7th position from Jerry Nadeau.
Wearing a pretty good-sized cast on that leg. Well, Jimmy Spencer now is back in competition.
26 is on his way back out there, so be smart.
Is that Brett Bodine's radio? Brett Bodine's spotter says the 26 back out there now. Be smart. Okay.
Brett's 13 laps down and 34th.
Now, Jimmy already told us that he wasn't going to do anything on the track.
Yep,
he said that in the interview.
Yep.
And our folks down, our spotters in the pit area told us that that the 14 car of Rick Mast has in fact right now on 7 cylinders.
And look who's about to go a lap down. It's one of our No Bull 5 contenders, Chad Little, a little bit loose there. But anyway, Steve Park is coming up on Dale Earnhardt Jr.,
who is running in 17th position. Yes. Those 2 cars out of the same stable, Dale Earnhardt Incorporated. For more on it, let's go to John Kernan.
Well, Ned, the problem that Dale Jr. has been fighting all night long is the car has been extremely tight. They've made numerous adjustments on the car during their pit stop, but it still just does not want to turn when he goes into the corner. In fact, about 20 laps ago, Jr. radioed the crew and said, I don't know what is wrong with this car, and I don't know what we can do to fix it.
That's amazing that both these cars coming out of Dale Earnhardt, it's almost like, and we see Mark Martin and Dale Earnhardt back racing for the 9th position. Mark passed Earnhardt 5 or 10 laps ago, took over 9th, and now Earnhardt goes back by him. It's almost like Park and Earnhardt Jr. traded cars to come back this time. Because remember in May, the 8 car of Earnhardt Jr. was so strong.
These overhead shots are courtesy of the Pennzoil Copter Cam. Following right now the 3 and the 6, but the Pennzoil Copter Cam has been following the Pennzoil Chevy most of the evening because Steve Park is the leader. And now here's a battle for 3rd place, Bobby Labonte and Jeff Burton.
Bobby took a look on the inside. Couldn't make the pass then. Could have said, I've caught him. Bobby was back a couple of seconds behind him, but now he's caught him. And here's Earnhardt and Mark Martin going at it again.
So Mark's trying to take the spot away. He's on the bottom side of the racetrack. I don't know if he can do it down there.
John has more on Dale Earnhardt.
Well, I guess in this case, it's like son, like father. Dale Earnhardt also has been complaining of a tight condition. In fact, not too long ago, he said, it just does not want to turn when I get it into the corners.
Those guys are running about 13.5 seconds behind the leader, Steve Park.
Steve Park has lengthened his advantage over Tony Stewart to 2 seconds now. There's Steve. Stewart second, Bobby Labonte third, Jeff Burton and Jeff Gordon complete the top 5. Back with more in a moment at Richmond International. Back at Richmond International Raceway, Bob Jenkins, Ned Jarrett, Benny Parsons, John Kernan, Bill Weber, and Dr. Jerry Punch with you on this Saturday night. The 90 car of Hut Strickland is slow.
Has coasted into the pits, Bob, and they're going up the hood, going under the hood with it, so that doesn't sound good.
The 28 car of Ricky Rudd has had a slow and steady move to the front. He is currently being shown in the 12th position. He started way back in 26th.
But he's about 16.5 seconds behind the leader, which means the leader isn't that far behind him.
Because they're turning about 23 seconds a lap.
Yeah.
He's about 2/3 of a lap behind, or a little more.
He has just one top 10 in the last 6 races here at Richmond, but has 12 top 10 finishes in the first 24 races of this 2000 season. And Ricky will celebrate his 44th birthday on Tuesday of this coming week.
Oh, and Jeff Burton all of a sudden just goes way up the racetrack, and the 24 car of Jeff Gordon goes by, takes over the 4th spot, and that's what I saw that in the truck race on Thursday night. These cars are going to the corner and just boom, go right. It's like they just lose the car all of a sudden. And Burton is struggling now.
Well, that's amazing. That car was so good early in the race.
Boy, you talk about how championships are won and lost, and you might look back to this race to see how some drivers lost the championship, because several up in the top 10 have had problems. And look how Burton's car just skates up the racetrack.
Again, I saw that several times Thursday night in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series.
Lost 1 position. He's back to 5th.
Just about 75 laps on the tires. You would think they should be able to go 100 anyway, but Burton is really struggling. He is now 8 seconds behind the leader, Steve Park.
His brother is the next car back. He is almost 10 seconds behind, so he's still almost 2 seconds ahead of his brother, Ward Burton.
And in the last 75 miles, when Steve Park took the lead, there were like 24 cars on the lead lap. He now has it down to 15. So Steve Park, the Pennzoil Chevrolet, is going somewhere.
10th place battle, the 6th and 10 cars, Mark Martin and Johnny Benson.
Dale Earnhardt, we saw he and Mark Martin racing together a few laps ago. He's now a couple of seconds ahead of Mark Martin. He's currently in the 9th position.
See there, Rusty Wallace, as the cars lap by him. He's running down on the inside of the track. He's still just one lap down. He's being shown in 20th position, but with that loss of a cylinder, just no way that he can compete. And here's the leader coming off of turn 2 and down the back stretch.
And a Chevy race recap shows that Steve Park has led 71 laps so far. We've had 11 lead changes, 5 caution periods for a total of 41 laps, and the average speed just shy of 100 miles an hour. Take a look at those who have led here tonight. Jeff Burton has led the most so far. Sterling Marlin led 1 lap. And we have a couple of other drivers who have led just 1 lap, but a very important lap for points leader Bobby Labonte. Off the track currently is Jeremy Mayfield in the 12 car, and we have a whole bunch of them that are out of the race. Here is that list, added most recently the name of Hut Strickland. Michael Waltrip out earlier in the first car out with a crash up in turn number 1. So Steve Park now completes his 266th lap, and his advantage is 3.1 seconds over Tony Stewart. You're watching live coverage of ESPN's Winston Cup Series. ESPN's coverage of the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 is being brought to you by Exide NASCAR Select, the official automotive battery of NASCAR. By Nations Rent. For construction rental equipment, call 1-800-NO-SWEAT. And by McDonald's. We love to see you smile. Well, coming up at the conclusion of our race tonight, Sports Center, and Linda Cohn and John Anderson will have all the stories from the world of sports, including the big game today, Nebraska against Notre Dame. That was quite a game. Are the Canes for real? And Pedro Martinez hosting the Bombers. Those stories and more on Sports Center coming up after our race.
That's Miss Cohn to you.
I'm sorry.
That's what she said last night. Mark Martin, the Valvoline Ford, still struggling. He's now back to the 12th position as Matt Kenseth, the 17 car, tries to close up. He's in 13th. Talking about Kenseth, the Walt car.
And Jeremy Mayfield is now officially out of the race.
And they said the official reason is engine failure. And Rusty Wallace, his teammate, has had an engine problem here tonight. So there'll be some midnight oil burned in the Penske engines shop this week.
Well, with those restrictor plates they'll put on them at New Hampshire next week,
we need to talk about that.
A lot of them will be burning some midnight oil, trying to adjust restrictor plate engines to a 1-mile racetrack.
NASCAR did announce here this weekend that a 1-inch restrictor plate will be used in the Winston Cup Series at New Hampshire International Speedway next week, and also the Busch Series. And the cars in both series will take pre-practice laps behind the pace car to ensure that the proper brake temperature has been reached prior to full speed runs.
Well, that's good. That's good that they're doing some things to try to make things better at all the NASCAR Winston Cup tracks.
Once again, here is the battle for the 12th position. Mark Martin is in 12th, and Matt Kenseth would like to take it.
And Bob, they're running about 21.5 seconds behind the leader, so that means that Steve Park is not too far behind them as Mark moves over now and lets Matt go on by. But on that same straightaway, they can look in their rearview mirror and they can see Steve Park coming. There you see him.
Park goes by John Andretti, the Cheerios. Pontiac puts him a lap down. Now then, 14 cars in the lead lap. The next car in front of the leader is Kenny Wallace, that Square D car, and he isn't that far in front.
Well, the most laps that Steve Park has ever led in a single race, I'm sure you'll remember, was last year at the Coca-Cola 600 when Steve led 80 laps and then finished in 42nd position. He has led 84 laps, and he has now led 87.
Good for him.
And let's Have a tip of the Stetson to Bill Elliott, who is making his return here tonight and in the top 6.
Yeah, he's moved up around Ward Burton. The last time we talked about Ward, he was running the 6th place behind his brother Jeff Burton. But Bill has passed Ward since then.
Down to Jerry Punch.
Guys, you mentioned Bill Elliott's incredible effort tonight. Now, just remember, it was just 18 days ago that Jimmy Andrews, the orthopedic surgeon in Birmingham, put 3 pins and a wire cage in Bill Elliott's left knee to hold the kneecap together. He is driving with those 3 pins and that figure-8 cage holding his kneecap together in the race car. He told me on Monday this week, finally, the swelling started to subside, and he was able to get some more flexibility in the left leg. But, folks, 18 days ago, he was on an operating room table. I'm impressed.
Wow. And in his last 2 short track races, Bill Elliott has finished 8th and 9th. 8th at Martinsville and 9th in the race here at Richmond earlier this year.
But Kevin LePage, the FamilyClick.com Ford, has just made a pit stop.
Kevin is now 2 laps down in 27th position. He's having a good run tonight. Had a great run last week at Darlington. Kevin
So Jimmy Spencer there by Bill Elliott. He had just made a pit stop to change tires a couple of laps ago. Ward Burton back in the 7th position. And Earnhardt gets by Jerry Nadeau. Oh, he did get by him. Takes over the 8th position.
Well, Nadeau's car has faded in the last 50 laps.
And Jeff Burton is now back to the 5th position. I'm sorry, I saw the car behind Nadeau. Thought that was a 10 car I saw. Thought it was the 9-9 car.
And then he's almost 13 seconds behind, which is over a half a lap.
Well, we should be in a pit stop window here before very long, and so we'll set up that situation as we take a break. From Richmond International with Steve Park leading Tony Stewart, Bobby Labonte, Jeff Gordon, and Jeff Burton. Laps completed, and right after the most recent round of pit stops, we were told that Tony Stewart's car comes in on long runs, and we're certainly seeing evidence of that because he has caught the leader, Steve Park. But now this most recent round of pit stops is beginning as Jeff Gordon comes in. Bill?
And this should be the last scheduled green flag stop for the 24. A wedge adjustment on the right side, having trouble with the right rear tire. Over there a long time. Now they swing around to the left side. Fuel going in. Gordon revs the engine. They'll have to wait on the left rear tire. Now they have a lug nut problem there. And finally Gordon's away, but that's a painfully long stop. Now Jeff Burton on pit road. His car very, very loose. They're going to lower the air pressure 1 pound. They're going to lower the track bar 1 round, and they're going to make a wedge adjustment. His car's been getting loose at the end of the runs. The adjustments they made him loose throughout the run. You can see the wedge adjustment and the track bar adjustment. Meanwhile, now the 20 challenges for the lead on the racetrack. All these crews on pit road, on the wall now. Burton is away. Looking for Mark Martin to come back down pit road. Meanwhile, Ward Burton will slide into his stall.
Let's go down to John Kernan.
And Ricky Rudd is in. They've already completed the work on the right side. Left sides are coming on. No chassis adjustments for Ricky Rudd. Just 4 tires and fuel.
20 car of Tony Stewart comes in. The 22 car of Ward Burton goes out of the pit area.
Dale Earnhardt's in. Matt Kenseth is in. These are all scheduled pit stops, John.
Dale Earnhardt is in for 4 tires, 2 rounds of wedge in the right rear to try and loosen that car up. Also, Matt Kenseth getting 4 tires. Earnhardt's down and away. Kenseth still in his pit stall. Left side tires going on. He is away.
Tony Stewart is still there, Bill.
Tony Stewart is on pit road. He's got 4 tires and heads back out. Very good at the end of that run. Now here is Steve Park. These guys basically have made no changes on this car all night. You watch from the crew cam as they work on the right side tires. Jack is down. Walt Smith swings around to the left side. They've had 3 stops in the 16-second bracket. They need a good one now. Waiting on the the left front. It's off. Now they put it on. It's going to take a little longer. Lyman Park is away. Jerry Punch.
Winston Cup points leader and now race leader Bobby Labonte makes his final scheduled pit stop. Bobby said the car will not turn. Air pressure adjustments in both left side tires. But whatever you do not take any more forward by away. They're going to make a one-time adjustment, left front, left rear, he's out and away.
Good pit stop of 15.6 seconds for the Bobby Labonte Interstate Batteries team.
And there is the leader, Tony Stewart. You did not see the high fives from Kelly Kellis and Trip Bruce like we did the last time because they had some trouble in that front tire, which allowed Tony Stewart to take, well, he doesn't have the lead because some cars haven't stopped, but he is in front of the one car of Steve Park.
The 8 car of Dale Earnhardt Jr. is being shown as the lead of the race. He has not pitted. But when he does, the lead will go to Tony Stewart.
The Junior just about hit the wall coming off turn 2. Rusty Wallace brings his alien car down the pit road. Jerry Punch.
Rusty running on 7 cylinders. A commented he might have some smoke inside the car for some oil around the oil tank. The crew was hoping for a cautious light to be able to look inside with some rag and wipe around the oil tank. And this is a green flag stop. Left side tire is going on and Rusty's away.
And folks, we have a battle for the lead. Tony Stewart, we've told you that he has his car. His car has trouble getting up to speed. He's still in that same problem because here comes a one car of Steve Park and goes by him.
Well, that's for second place right now, but it will be for the lead as soon as Dale Earnhardt Jr. makes his pit stop.
And Dale Earnhardt Jr. becomes our 8th different leader of the evening. He's now about 6.3 seconds ahead of Steve Park, who is in second. And Tony Stewart once again drops back here in the early part and gets shoved out of the way by Kenny Wallace.
It's just unbelievable how slow that Home Depot Pontiac is when they change 4 tires and put the new ones on.
And how fast it is at the end of the run.
Exactly, versus the competition.
I saw Mark Martin right after they made their pit stop just shot by him. He just drove away. Here's Jeff Gordon. He's coming up on Stewart.
There's Dale Earnhardt Jr. who continues to lead, but look how much slower he is compared with those who have fresher tires. And he now is going to come in for his hopefully final pit stop of the evening. Down to John Kernan.
Dale Earnhardt Jr. swings his Chevrolet into the pit stall. It'll be a 4-tire change. Air pressure adjustment. Remember, the car very, very tight. They'd stayed out there. Remember, they had launched the lap, I believe, so they're hoping to get a caution when everyone pitted. But they couldn't stay out there any longer because the new tires were just too fast. 4 tires changed. He is down and away. And here comes Steve Park crossing the start-finish line. He'll put his teammate down a lap.
And Jeff Gordon now begins to challenge the second-place car of Tony Stewart. Bobby Labonte also comes up on Tony. Stewart and Gordon started side by side in 11th and 12th. Now they're contesting the second position, and Gordon takes it. We'll check the speeds here at the line. Wow, look at Steve Park, 120.2, and everybody else is considerably slower than that.
And Tony Stewart was just 117.5 miles per hour. I mean, it's almost like something is wrong once again, but the same thing happened before, so I'm sure it's the same thing. It just takes him some time to get that car going.
And he just hopes that it'll go green from here on.
Now that time, he's up to 118.5 miles per hour, and he's trying to challenge the 24 car back for that second spot.
I want to give a call to Mark Martin's crew. They've made a tremendous pit stop. Remember, we saw him get lapped not too long ago? Well, right now, he is in 12th position, but he's about 3 seconds out in front of Steve Park. So he's back on the lead lap, and he hopes for a caution before Steve Park can get back up there, too.
So Jeff Gordon back to third and Tony Stewart to second, but both of them are about 3 1/4 seconds behind this man and this car, the Pennzoil Chevy, being driven by Steve Park. He leads the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. On board the Interstate State Battery's Pontiac looking to his right to Jeff Gordon. As they battle for the third position, Gordon will take it.
They've been running side by side for 4 or 5 laps. Finally, he got in front.
And Tony Stewart, you see 3.7 seconds behind the leader. If you look at the rundown. Now, Tony Stewart, we saw 117.5 miles per hour. Now he's up to 119.5 miles per hour after he gets a few laps on his tires. That time, almost 120 miles per hour for Tony Stewart. And the leader, Steve Park, only ran 118.5.
Coming up on Scott Pruitt to put him 2 laps down. We will check the speeds once again.
Oh, the car blowing. Rusty Wallace is blowing into 1, and the caution flag is out.
Big puff of smoke from the Miller Lite 4 down in turn number 1. And so the caution flag waves for the 6th time this evening on the 318th lap.
Now, it hasn't been that long since they changed tires. I wonder, will they stop and change tires?
Yeah, I believe they will, Benny.
Yeah, they've got 75, 80 miles to go, 80 laps to go, I should say.
And there is such a difference in the tires after they run even 10 or 12 laps. So you have 14 cars on the lead lap. That's a big help to John Andretti and Mark Martin and a few of those who had got, as a result of the green flag pit stops, they got back on the lead lap, and so now this will help them.
We'll know here in just a moment as the pace car has the field in tow.
Pit road is open. Park comes down pit road. Here comes Tony Stewart, Jeff Gordon, Dr. All coming in.
Yeah. No big surprise, really. Yep. I was sure that they would. And if one does it, the others have to.
Triple split once again. Park, Stewart, and Gordon. Jerry?
1 round up on the track bar, half a pound of air back in the left side. Bobby Labonte said these tires felt flat the whole time. Let's go back to Bill Weber.
Steve Park, Jeff Gordon, and Tony Stewart are all on pit road right in a row. Park's getting his left side tire, drops the jack. He'll be first now, gets around the 6, followed by the 24, then the 20 door-to-door with his teammate, then the 22 with a 94 also with a good stop. John?
Dale Earnhardt was just in. No changes to the car. Remember last time they made that wedge adjustment, and he said the car was coming in. Ricky Rudd was held on pit road as a rear tire got away and rolled across the pits. So Rudd being penalized just sitting here on pit road. He has already left, been assessed the penalty. That could have been just very costly if that had happened under green.
Well, last time the one team did not high-five, but this time they were much prouder of the work that they did.
Yes, they did. And Jeff Gordon, his team is going to be very proud because he comes out in the 2nd position. Jeff Burton's in 3rd, Bobby Labonte in 4th. And Tony Stewart, now he's back in 5th spot, and we know how long it takes his car to get going on tires. So, man, it's tough for Tony Stewart.
Take a look at the end of the pit stop for Steve Park.
Cars down, goes around the 6 car. Watch it. Oh, yeah. Steve Mill leading. He's the chief cheerleader there.
We have 80 laps to go at the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 from Richmond.
The more things change.
Just as you rejoin us, the green flag comes out and we are back to competition. Whoa, 3 wide there in the first corner. Tony Stewart all the way back to 5th position. Up ahead of him is Bobby Labonte, Jeff Burton. Jeff Gordon is 2nd now, chasing Park.
And we see Jeff Burton now making a challenge on the outside of Jeff Gordon. And now look at the sparks fly off that car. He is driving that car down in the corner so hard it's bottoming out against the racetrack.
With the soft springs they run on these things nowadays, really leans over.
Now he'll not be able to do that once these tires get some flats on them.
And now Burton bears down on Park.
So
So
Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s car also sparking as he drove the car down in the corner.
And he is not on the lead lap. He's 15th a lap down. All right, let's check the speeds at the line.
Check out Jeff Burton, the fastest time, 121 miles per hour. But Tony Stewart was the third best car that time. Oh! Park's going inside, outside. Which way is he going? Burt says, okay, go low, because I want to go high. Can't quite make it.
Once again, Jeff heads for the high line, but cannot wrestle the lead away from Steve Park.
There's a battle for the, 8th position? Oh, almost contact between a couple of Pontiacs, the 22 of Ward Burton, the 10 of Johnny Benson. There's Earnhardt watching these guys and trying to figure out which way to go.
As we watch this battle for the lead, as Burton tries it down on the inside this time. We mentioned that we saw the 97 car coming out of the pits just as the green flag flew. Brett Bodine, I don't think we ever mentioned the fact that he got his car, the engine gave up on it, and he is now in the 97 car of Chad Little.
Burton pulls alongside Steve Park. The copter cam keeping a close eye on this battle for the lead as they cross the line and complete the 329th lap.
Well, Burton drove her deep down in the corner that time.
Oh, but he's going to come up. Oh, yes, he's in the lead.
Jeff Burton takes the lead on lap 330.
And Tony Stewart in 5th spot. He's at almost 2 seconds behind, but we all know that orange car, the Home Depot car, will get better as these tires get some laps on them.
Remember, Bobby Labonte has a chance to win $1 million for himself and a fan if he can win this race.
And he's the only one in the top 5 with that opportunity.
Earnhardt is 9th. Matt Kenseth just outside the top 10, also eligible. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is a lap down in 15th position. And Dale Jarrett is in 33rd. Now 18 laps down because of the problem that he had earlier in the race. Tony Stewart recorded his first NASCAR Winston Cup win here at Richmond a year ago. Currently finds himself about 2 1/4 seconds behind Jeff Burton. Burton has led on 4 different occasions here tonight. He has currently led 101 of the 334 laps. There are the top 5. We'll be right back. 60 laps to go in this Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 here at Richmond International Raceway. It's nice to have you with us on this Saturday night here on ESPN. Here is the battle for 9th position. Mark Martin and Ward Burton.
They've been going at it now for 2 or 3 laps. Ward running the high line and Mark running the low line. That's the line that Mark normally likes to run. But he's having a hard time making it work for him.
Ward has 13 top 10 finishes so far this year. Ran 6th at Darlington last week after leading 59 laps.
And you saw Johnny Benson running side by side with Ward Burton just a few laps ago. Well, Benson has pulled away from Ward and from Earnhardt. He's currently in 7th position, 5.5 seconds behind the leader, Jeff Burton. Mark trying to get that low line to work, but as you can see, it doesn't as Ward Burton pulls him a couple of car lengths and he tried it down the corner. But he's going to try it again.
when he can get the full, you know, let it drift up next to the wall, it works pretty good for him. But when he's on the inside of Burton, then he has to shorten his curve coming off of there, and that's when it doesn't work.
Bill Elliott, who is having his best Richmond race since he finished second here in September of 1993. He finished 9th in the race held earlier this year, talking about Bill Elliott.
And Benson, you see, just slowly getting closer and closer to Bill Elliott for the 6th position. The Aaron's Rent Pontiac. Man, he's done a great job in that car this year. Just
Sure
a
has.
fantastic. Talking about Benson in that 10 car.
They're all set with Valvoline to sponsor that car next year. So
Had a 5th place finish at Michigan not too long ago. The last 2 cars on the lead lap are Ricky Rudd and Jerry Nadeau.
Well, that's 2 different lines coming off the corner, wasn't it? As Rudd came off shallow and Nadeau almost hit the wall as he exited turn 2.
13th and 14th. Rudd has passed Nadeau since the green flag flew because Rudd was the last one out of the pits. He got penalized for a tire rolling away. And so he was the last car, last one to come out of the pit. See Dave Blaney right behind him there. Dave is a lap down. He got a lap down when he got caught up in a wreck. And still, you know, he's held his own since then as far as staying on that lap. He lost that lap when he got caught up with Jimmy Spencer in a wreck early on.
He posted his 3rd top 20 finish of the year just last week at Darlington, and his 2nd in the last 6 races since Doug Randolph took over as the crew chief for the Amoco Pontiac Grand Prix.
Casey Atwood, the 20-year-old, there he is, the Motorola Ford. His first race, his first NASCAR Winston Cup race. Ray Evernham is the owner of this car, will be the owner next year of the Dodge teams that Casey Atwood will drive. And he wanted Casey to get some laps and against some great competition. Well, he has tonight, and he's done a great job. He's now a couple of laps down in 22nd position.
And he also plans to run at Martinsville and at Homestead before embarking on his rookie season next year. And once again, Nadeau and Rudd are having a pretty good race.
Nadeau is taken away to 9th position. No, that's not the 9th position, the 13th position.
Meanwhile, Jeff Burton still leads this thing, but Steve Park isn't going anyplace. He's 2/3 of a second behind. Remember, before Jeff Burton would run about 50 laps and then start slowing down. I only see the Lowe's car slow.
Caution is out.
Uh-oh, caution is out. We're probably going to see some more pit stops, some more tire changes, and man, this is a good break, I think, for Jeff Burton. If his crew can pull off a good stop and get him back out in front.
Mike Skinner was running in the 18th position, but contact has put him on pit road, and it's also brought out our 7th caution of the evening. Mike stops the Lowe's Home Improvement Chevy down in his pit area, and we'll take a look at it from his onboard camera.
Goes down in turn 1.
The right front tire went down. Looked like, because it just shot right to the wall.
I believe it. It's exactly what I saw the other night. They go down the corner, and all of a sudden they lose the back end. They got to chase it up the hill, and it's going so fast, he chases it up against the wall. Now, you may be right. He may have a right front tire flat.
You're probably right, too. I just responded where she shot up towards the wall there right at the end. All the leaders are down pit road.
14 on the lead lap. Jerry?
Bobby Labonte, 4 tires, no fuel whatsoever, just 4 tires, no changes. Bobby said the car couldn't get any better. Left side tires going on the current point leader. Let's go down to Bill Weber.
And you look at the 99, the 1, and the 24, all on pit road. On Jeff Burton's last stop, they made an air pressure adjustment that makes him good early in the runs. Labonte is away, waiting on the left front on the 99, and will keep it out. Followed by the 18, the 24, then the 1.
In the Labonte pit.
Peter Gillen, Jeff Chandler.
Good pit stop. Won him the race last week at Darlington.
Will it win them another race here today? Well, we still got about 45 more laps to go. Under caution once again. We'll take a break and be back with more of the Monte Carlo 400 from Richmond International Raceway. There is a problem with Bobby Labonte's car. What is it, Doc?
Apparently, there is a power steering pump that is leaking on Bobby Labonte's car. Just like what happened in May. He is coming back down pit road. He got his worst finish of the year here at Richmond in May when he finished 26th. He was involved in an incident not of his own doing in the final 50 laps. And here we are, less than 50 from the checkered flag. And as he exited pit road a moment ago, there was a puddle on the pit road, and his car began to smoke. He came back in as the field now is in turn 3. They're going to cut the power steering belt so the pump will stop working and it will stop leaking. Bobby is down and away. These final laps, no power steering.
Wow, and he's just barely going to beat the pace of the field as they are accelerating and taking the green flag and going back to competition. And Kevin LePage is very slow coming up to speed. Ooh. It looks like that Labonte, if he stays on the lead lap, he's going to be very, very lucky, and I don't believe he will.
I don't think he will either. He came out of the pits in 2nd place, and here he is now in 14th position, fighting to stay on the lead lap.
Well, now the smoke is clearing up because they have cut the belt that turns the power steering pump that pumps the fluid back out on the engine, back on the exhaust, that causes the smoke. So the smoking problem is gone, but the problem is he doesn't have power steering.
Well, he stays ahead of Jeff Burton and the rest of the field. Meanwhile, Jeff Gordon and Burton are running very close together. Steve Park is right there in 3rd. Then Dale Earnhardt now running 4th, and Bill Elliott is 5th.
Well, Earnhardt had a great pit stop. They said a little over 13 seconds.
John Kernan has more.
Ned, it was just a shade over 13, actually 13.60, a 13.6-second stop for Dale Earnhardt. The only adjustment, air pressure, but it was a thing of beauty to see down here on pit road, I'm telling you what.
And the last top 5 that Dale Earnhardt had here at Richmond was his 3rd place finish this race 5 years ago. The rear spoiler of Steve Park. And trying to make a challenge.
Now, if they got up there in 1st and 2nd, Steve Park was leading that race and Earnhardt running 2nd. Steve Park would about have to pull over and let him go by. There's $1 million at stake for Earnhardt.
Bobby Labonte stays on the lead lap, just barely, but he is. Nevertheless, he is in 14th position now.
And Kevin LePage, I think, has lost an engine in his family plate.com 40. Went down the front straightaway the last time, and it did not sound good at all.
Yeah, Burton working on Bobby Labonte, trying to put him a lap down.
Jeff Burton, if the race were to end now and points were awarded now, would be in 2nd position in the point standings, 166 behind Bill Weber.
I think it's important to remind everybody that Jeff Burton won the Busch race here last night. Now, Wednesday night, he was on RPM tonight, and I asked him about running the Busch race. And he said it makes the driver better, not the car, because not enough information translates between the two. But he said, when I'm done running that Busch race, I know I'm a better driver because I have more laps in race conditions at that track. Then he added, I may not see it this Saturday night, but it'll show up sometime. Right now, it's showing up pretty well. John?
And Bill, right now, problems showing up for Matt Kenseth, one of the 5 guys going for that $1 million bonus. He had stayed on the lead lap, but he has slowed dramatically. The crew tells me the engine has broken.
Well, he and the 16 car of Kevin LePage, both the engines coming from Roush, and they about the same time have a problem. But unfortunately, the 99 car that's leading the race, Jeff Burton, his engines come from the same place. So, but he might not have as much gear in this Exide Ford as the 17 or 16 had in their cars.
Seen a lot of engine problems here tonight. That's pretty unusual now in the racing world because of the technology they have, that they can fix them where they can turn them 9,000 RPMs. And maybe some of them will turn them more than that. And maybe that's why we've had the problem.
6th and 7th here. Elliott 6th. Martin 7th.
We see Tony Stewart up in front of that on the inside of Dale Earnhardt. Just a bit. There it is. Battle for the 4th position.
Earnhardt is the driver doing best as far as those eligible for the $1 million bonus.
Yeah, it looks like Winston can breathe a little bit easier now as far as paying out that $1 million, or $2 million actually, $1 million to the driver and $1 to the fan. But Earnhardt's still in there. We're not taking it away from him yet, but
he's about 2.5 seconds behind the leader, but actually more like 3 seconds now on that last lap around.
And Bobby Labonte now is, I think it's starting to wear on him trying to drive that car without power steering.
There is Gordon in 2nd position. He's 1 second behind Jeff. Well, Jeff Burton in his career has 13 wins. 2 have come on a short track, and one of those was here at Richmond 2 years ago. Gordon heads for the inside, coming off corner number 2, down the backstretch. Jeff Gordon pulls alongside, but Burton inches ahead as they move through the 3rd and 4th corners. They're coming to the line for the win. It is Jeff Burton winning over Jeff Gordon. What a great race.
Wow.
Is this an instant replay of 2 years ago? Because those guys are still running 1st and 2nd again. Not quite as close, though, at least not at the moment. Gordon still about a second behind.
Matt Kenseth lost complete power as he came down the front straightaway. He has pulled it off at the end of pit road down there, so he's out of harm's way.
As you see the 99 crew, they ran to push him off the racetrack and get him out of harm's way to be sure no caution flag would come out.
Yeah, they don't want a caution.
Gordon is closing in, though. He's reducing that interval, albeit very slowly and slightly. Once again, the battle goes on between Elliott and Martin, but up ahead of them, here is Dale Earnhardt, who's putting a lap on Bobby Labonte.
Really, all Bobby Labonte needs to do now is stay ahead of Ken Schrader, who's in the next, he's the next car at 1 lap.
Caution flag is out. Oh. Casey Atwood, the Motorola Ford just blew up. The caution is out.
And it comes with less than 20 laps to go. There's the smoking car of Casey Atwood as his Winston Cup debut is over.
Well, this will set up an interesting situation. I think they'll have to pit.
Now the pace car is going by Jeff Burton. Pit road is open now. Will they come down pit road? No.
Wow. Earnhardt's coming, isn't he?
Earnhardt, yeah. Mark Martin is coming. Ward Burton is coming.
I think that's smart. I think that's very smart.
John Kernan.
Richard Childress just told Dale Earnhardt after being told nobody else was pitting, he says, hey, we're going to take 4 tires and we're going to beat these guys. So the crew that knocked off a 30.6-second pit stop last time doesn't have that pressure on them now. As they swing around to the left side, putting those tires on, they can actually take their time. Now to Bill Weber.
Mark Martin is on pit road. Ward Burton is also on pit road. Left side tires for the 6. Left side's also for the 22. Earnhardt's able to get off of pit road. At the very last second, Frank Stoddard told driver Jeff Burton, stay out, stay out, stay out.
And he did, although he faked and almost put Jeff Gordon into the pits, but both of them stayed out. So did Steve Park and Tony Stewart. Back at Richmond International, I was supposed to say right here that SportsCenter is coming up next, but I don't have to. But SportsCenter is coming up next, and here are some of the stories that Linda and John will be covering for you. College football plus the Major League Baseball race. All the sports you need to know. SportsCenter is coming up next. Bobby Labonte will line up to the inside of the leader, Jeff Burton, and Bobby will try to get his lap back here as we enter the final 15 laps of this race.
By the way, the 19 car did not lose region. The right front tire was flat. Is what caused his problem. Green flag.
We were premature in saying that Casey's debut is over. It is not. He is still out there. Now, Jeff Gordon up on the top side of Jeff Burton.
He's got a run. He is on the outside and has a run on Burton.
If Dale Earnhardt can get through that traffic, he will mow them down. He has new tires on.
Gordon, I believe, will get credit for leading that lap, and that is the first time that Jeff Gordon has led tonight. Still a side-by-side battle for the lead. Gordon and Jeff Burton. And now Jeff clearly takes the advantage.
And Earnhardt gets by Bill Elliott to take over the 5th spot. And he's on the inside of Tony Stewart, trying to get on the inside of Tony Stewart. That's for 4th.
Elliott took 4 new tires, and he was the fastest car on the racetrack last time. He's less than a second behind Jeff Gordon, now the leader.
He'll catch him and pass him.
And if he does and wins the race, he will win the Winston No Bull $5 million bonus. And again, he is the fastest car on the racetrack. Gordon second quick, and Ward Burton, who also came in for a pit stop, is shown as the 3rd quick that last lap.
Here he comes down on the inside of his car. Steve Park. Didn't quite make the pass.
He's just 3/4 of a second behind.
10 laps to go when they come back this time. Well, he hasn't passed his driver yet.
390 complete, 10 laps to go. This is the battle for 3rd position. Dale Earnhardt and the car that he owns, driven by Steve Park, and Park will not relinquish that very easily.
He's hanging tough, and his boss is trying to win $1 million.
Earnhardt's last win in the month of September came at this facility 10 years ago.
And Bill Elliott slipped down in the 1st corner and lost 1, 2, 3 spots.
And now Earnhardt has the run on Park.
But Park's going to come back on the outside. He has the momentum. And Jeff Gordon pulling away from Jeff Burton right now.
Yeah, the laps are quickly clicking down. Now less than 8 to go. 7.5 from the Pennzoil Copter Cam. You're seeing the top 4.
I said that Earnhardt would mow him down, but he can't get by his car, and that's going to might just hold him up enough to cost him that $1 million.
John, what's going on?
Well, I have a question question for our experts up there. Remember earlier in the race we said that Earnhardt was concerned that he was pulling too low a gear. He was having to let off too early going into the turn, coming down the front straightaway to not over-rev the engine. Could that be preventing him from getting the run on Steve Park that he needs?
No, he just can't get that momentum up on top of the racetrack, and Park is still. Now Earnhardt finally gets by, but now he only has, what, 6 laps to go.
Yeah, he ran Park into that third turn, put the slide job on him, and moved them both way up the racetrack and got a run then coming off of turn 4, made the pass.
Now Mark Martin is trying to get by Steve Park. Martin has gotten by Tony Stewart. This is a battle for the 4th spot.
One time Mark Martin was a lap down. Here he is now battling for the 4th position.
Martin had a pit stop and changed all 4s. Same time that Dale Earnhardt did. Now Mark Martin slips up ahead of Park and takes over that 4th position. Coming down for 4 laps to go for Jeff Gordon, who is leading Jeff Burton by 0.8 of a second, and Dale Earnhardt closed to within 1.1 seconds. The previous lap he was 1.3 seconds behind, but boy, he's got very little time to get up there.
Yeah, he doesn't have enough time now. He'll have a tough time probably passing Burton. Well, I don't know. No, that's no problem. He drove right on by him.
Jeff Burton slipped, get down the 3rd corner, and here's Earnhardt with just 3 laps to go, closing in on the leader, Jeff Gordon. And here's Mark Martin about to go by Burton, take over that 3rd spot.
Well, if you don't believe those new tires will help, just pay attention to what went on there. These cars that made those pit stops, see how they've been able to come up there and pass those cars that have been running up front all night.
2 laps to go on this 3/4-mile track in Richmond. Jeff Gordon leads Dale Earnhardt. If Earnhardt wins, he gets the $1 million bonus. If Jeff Gordon wins, he records his 52nd career victory. There is the No Bull 5 winner if Earnhardt can win the race, but we're on the final lap, and Ted Musgrave has problems, but he gets the car quickly down to the apron of the racetrack. Misses pit road, but that's of insignificance. The white flag is out, and we've got less than a half a lap to go for Jeff Gordon, who started this race in 13th position. And here he comes down to the checkered flag, and Jeff Gordon wins his 3rd race of 2000, also won at Talladega and Sears Point, his 2nd Richmond event, and it's his 52nd career victory and 10th on a short track.
And Jeff Burton slipped all the way back to 5th.
Earnhardt finished 3/4 of a second behind Jeff. Bill?
With crew chief Robbie Loomis, handshakes all around. Your driver called in and said that was an awesome win. And Robbie, that was an awesome win.
Yeah, it was real exciting. I'll tell you, this pit crew's done a great job. You know, last week we had the best pit stop there at the end of the race, and nobody realized it. Today they came back, give us good pit stops, kept us in there. What can you say about Jeff Gordon when it comes down to the end?
Your guys said with about 150, 125 to go that they felt they could reel in the leaders.
You know, we knew if we could keep him up in there, you know, he wanted to be in that no bowl race for Talladega, and we really like that with Winston. Just got to thank DuPont and Jeff Gordon. He's unbelievable.
At Talladega, you'll go for $1 million. Congratulations.
Loving that. Thanks, bud. See you.
So the DuPont Chevrolet wins the Monte Carlo 400.
And we do not pay out the No Bull 5 million to any driver, but Jeff Gordon is eligible at Talladega. Circling over victory lane, we see the number 24 DuPont Chevy there, and emerging from it is the victor tonight, Jeff Gordon. Here's our McDonald's Winner's Circle interview with the doctor.
Had a huge hug from car owner Rick Hendrick, and now a kiss and a hug from his wife, Brooke. As happy as I've seen Jeff Gordon in quite a while.
That's right.
Jeffrey, congratulations. What a performance.
Wow. I just want to collect myself here. It's been a little while since we've been in Victory Lane. I've got to thank God just for the perseverance and, you know, just keeping our faith, and this team keeping their faith in themselves. God couldn't have done it without him. A great day for us. We worked hard all weekend long. We came and tested, and the car was great. And we were there all day long, you know. We just never had that track position. There at the end, I knew I had to take advantage of Jeff on that restart. I had no idea Earnhardt and them guys were going to be coming that fast. So luckily I got out there and got to set a smooth pace. But I want to thank DuPont Automotive Finishes, Quaker State, Pepsi, GMAC, this guy right here, Robbie Loomis, Brian White, so all the guys in these Rainbow Warriors, Advanced Auto Parts. Man, I don't know, Hendrick Motorsports, Chevrolet, you know, it was just an incredible night for us. I want to thank you guys from ESPN, Jerry. You guys have done so much for me through my career, and I don't think I'd be here without ESPN and all those Thursday Night Thunders, Bob Jenkins, and you know, Benny and Ned and all those guys. I appreciate everything. This is a great night for us.
It was a super night, and thank you for the test, Jeffrey. Outstanding effort. I got to ask you though, the caution comes back out. You do it, and you waste no time at all making the move on the outside. Did you know you had something for Jeff Burton when the green flag came back out?
Well, I told myself, you know, whichever way he goes, I'm going to go the opposite way, and I knew Park was going to be real strong too, so I didn't know what was going to happen, but Jeff got me outside on an earlier restart, and I said, well, I got to start driving there real deep if I can get up beside him, and I just barely got up beside him, and probably wouldn't have worked with anybody else other than Jeff Burton. He's a great race car driver. He always races me hard and smooth, and we've had some great battles here at Richmond. It was a lot of fun.
Hey, congratulations. Go celebrate.
All right, we will. Thank you.
Jeff Gordon's third win of the year and second here at Richmond International Raceway. Let's check it over with Bill Webb.
Well, with Dale, you want to try inside? We're right under a PA here. We can go right here. This will be right here. Well, fresh tires and you
as kind of you want to have about 15, 20 to go. Get tires, everybody else stay out. I raced Park a little bit too long, but he's trying to hold position, and he done a good job staying where he did in top 5, and thought we could get him. You know, if it had been another lap, maybe not, but we were trying.
The decision to come in and get the tires, obviously, as you look back now, a decision.
That's Richard Childers and Evans. We got 2 tires here in the spring, really was a goof off, so 4 tires and heroes now, so it worked out for us.
You're also unofficial second place in points, about 158 back, Dale, so you made a big gain.
Well, that's what we needed to do, is make a big game, and them guys had bad luck and gotten this. So maybe we can keep doing this, top 5s and a win, and maybe we can race them hard.
Thanks for stopping. See you next week.
Thank you.
Well, let's take a look at the results now. There were 12 cars on the lead lap when the checkered flag dropped, and the top 10, Gordon, Earnhardt, Martin, Park, Jeff Burton, Stewart, Benson, Ward Burton, Ricky Rudd, and Jerry Nadeau with the top 10 finish. Here's 16 through 30.
Scott Pruitt has a good run. Comes in 16th, 1 lap down. Schrader and Blaney. Casey Atton will finish in 20th spot in his very first NASCAR Winston Cup race. First of many, I'm sure.
Everybody on this page had a lot of trouble.
There are the results of the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400. Back with points in a moment. ESPN's coverage of the Chevrolet Monte Carlo 400 at Richmond International Raceway being brought to you by Team Monte Carlo. The cars more champions depend on. Chevy will be there. By Conseco. And by Kmart Route 66. Jeans, clothes. It's not Main Street, only at Kmart. Sports Center coming up next. Stay with us for all the war news from the world of sports. Now let's take a look at the point standings, and 6 of the 10 positions changed here tonight. And Dale Earnhardt is indeed in second position of the point standings, 158 behind Labonte, and the top 4 are within 200 points of each other. Now we go down to John Kernan.
With a couple of happy guys. They didn't win the race, but they more or less won the war. Casey Atwood making his Winston Cup debut. Casey, you finished the race. How was it?
Pretty good. We just, beginning of the race there, we just started off a little bit too loose and got us lapped down early, but I couldn't be more happy. You know, somebody asked me this morning what the perfect weekend be, and I said a top 20, and we got that. So, you know, we started off a little bad, but Ray made good adjustments on the car all night, got the car better each time. You know, at the end of the race, we was running times with top 10. So, I got to thank Motorola, I got to thank Ray for giving me the opportunity, and these guys on this team worked hard all night, and building this car, they worked hard for a couple months on it. So great job in the pits, and just glad to get this one over with.
Ray, what about his job tonight?
He did a great job. He learned all night long. I think we all did. I was really proud of this team. I feel like I've got a really good foundation going forward. They proved got a little bit behind qualifying, but they fought back all night. Cut a right front tire, didn't knock the wall down. Dented my car up a little bit, but he did a good job. And congratulations to Jeff and Robbie and all the guys. And again, I'd like to thank Motorola, too, for giving us an opportunity.
All right, thanks, guys. Upstairs.
Well, Casey advanced 16 positions from his start in 35th. He did finish 2 laps down, but again, a good debut for the young 20-year-old.
Yes, he did. I was very impressed with Casey Atwood tonight.
Well,
I figured it would be. I'm sorry.
Yep. It's been a good night for several drivers, but for others, they suffered major hits in the point standings. But it all means that in these last 9 races of the year 2000, it should be a tremendous battle for the 2000 NASCAR Winston Cup Championship, right down to the final race in Atlanta. Well, here tonight, we had 9 different leaders and 16 lead changes once the green flag dropped. We did have a total of 8 caution periods that lasted for 57 laps. We had 16 lead changes. The average speed of the race was 99.866 miles an hour. Jeff Gordon drove to victory here tonight after leading 15 laps. His official margin of victory was 3/4 of a second over Dale Earnhardt. That's a story from Richmond International Raceway. This has been a presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com.